citizens of Tampa. City Council now to come to order for August 26, 2021. I believe, Mr. Carlson, you still have the invocation for this month, sir?
Yep, this is my last one. Thank you, sir. I'm proud this morning to introduce Reverend Michael Cannon. He's Associate Rector of St. John's Episcopal Church, which is in the middle of heart of Hyde Park, and their school also hits a couple other places in South Tampa. He is married to his wife Erica and has 4 grown children. He is originally from upstate of South Carolina. After graduating from Washington Lee University, he had an extensive career in technology. He received his Master's of Divinity from the University of South Florida, Sewanee, and was ordained as a priest at St. John's in 2019. In addition to his liturgical and pastoral responsibility, he also spearheads the church's hospitality and justice initiatives. So if everyone would please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
And could IT please turn the volume up? We can't hear in the chambers, please.
We did the introduction already.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we praise you and we bless you. We love you and we need you. Thank you for the gift of this new day, for its opportunities and for its challenges. Behold and visit, we pray, the city of Tampa. Pour out on her and its people a fresh blessing. Send down upon these city council members and their staffs the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people. Renew the ties of mutual regard which form our civic life. When we disagree, let there be respect and compromise. When we are discouraged, give us a resupply of hope. Where there is difficulty, show us the way. Inspire us, Lord God, to care for the poor and the marginalized, those without voice or power. Help us to eliminate all prejudice, hatred, and oppression. We pray for those who are sick from COVID. Too many are sick. Too many have died. We pray for the eradication of the disease and give thanks to science for their many contributions to our public health. We pray for first responders and healthcare workers. We pray for our children and their teachers. May the rich variety of our cultures and interests which so characterize our city be our strength. May we find in our unity the flourishing of our earthly home. Finally, Lord God, give us a steward's heart for the land, sky, water, and all other resources at our disposal. These are our prayers, Lord God, which we humbly offer for the sake of your love. Amen.
To the flag of America, to the republic, which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Carlson.
Here.
Maniscalco. Here. Dingfelder. Here. Citro. Here. Vieira. Here. Miranda.
Here.
And Goode.
Here.
We have a physical forum.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Mr. Shelby, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Martin Shelby, the City Council Attorney. Today, Thursday, August 26, 2021, is a meeting of the City Council, which is being conducted with a live in-person quorum, as you've heard, of the City Council present in City Council chambers. However, in light of the continuing COVID-19 government-issued health standards and guidance in effect, members of the public have the ability to participate virtually through video teleconferencing, referred to by Florida statutes and rules as communications media technology. Today's meeting is able to be viewed on cable TV channel 640 and channel 15 on Frontier, and on the internet at tampa.gov/live stream. Now, members of the public have had the opportunity to communicate with City Council by sending written comments or web, by email, by U.S. mail, and they also have the opportunity to speak remotely during public comment with the use of CMT. And the way to do that is to follow the directions on the City Council's webpage at tampa.gov/City Council. Now, if those individuals who wish to speak don't have access to communications media technology or wish to come into City Council, they have the option of participating via communications media technology, which is being made available to the public during this hybrid live virtual meeting at Old City Hall, 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, on the second floor. And please note that use of masks and social distancing inside the building are encouraged. Now, specific comments for public hearings will be heard when they appear on the agenda. Otherwise, general public comment is available by pre-registering, as I said, and appearing on the second floor. Now, the public comments that have been made available have been distributed to City Council, and they will be afforded equal consideration as if the comments were made in person. Again, I ask City Council to adopt these rules temporarily, continuing per the motion of Council, pursuant to the notice of hybrid live and virtual meeting and the rules that are set forth in the agenda by a motion, please.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Ms. Maniscalco has a motion. Ms. Miranda has second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you,
Motion carried.
sir. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we have a long, lengthy agenda this morning. I'm going to ask that we be up on a timer this morning. Any points of direction towards any of staff or comments, we ask that we get right to the point so we can make sure to get their presentations in. They put a lot of work into it for my meetings. So we'll go down. Mr. Dingfelder has asked to be pulled items number 5, 6, and 44. Is that correct, sir? Yes, sir. I believe Ms. Kamari is here in reference to 44, to the recommendation of the mayor and the appointment of this council for the new member for the CRB, Citizen Review Board. And we'll get to that. Gentlemen, I ask you to just go through the agenda. We'll go to the staff report to see if we need to release anybody. I know that item number 86 will be continued to this evening, correct, Mr. Shelby?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. With regard to the approval of the agenda, item number 8, did you say 86?
Yes, sir.
Item number 86 is a public hearing. It will be opened and continued sometime after 10:30 a.m., and it will be continued to 6 p.m., a time certain when the, actually 6 p.m., when the public will have the opportunity to speak at that time. So if you are pre-registered for item number 86, that will be opened and just continued sometime after 10:30. The time for public comment and the presentations will be at 6 p.m. tonight. Mr. Chairman, I'm wondering, I understand that the appointee to the Police Citizens Review Board is under a time constraint. I'm wondering if there's a point during ceremonial that you'd be able to take this person's comment.
We'll take it, Mr. Shelby. Let's get to 63. I think 63 is being removed from the agenda because it's
It's duplicative.
duplicate item.
Yes, so that as part of the motion to approve the agenda and addendum, number 63 should be struck. And I believe if there's no other additions, deletions, or substitutions to the agenda that's not set forth, a motion to approve, please.
So move to approve as presented.
Second. Motion by Mr. Miranda, second by Mr. Dingfellow. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right, let's go to staff reports. We'll make sure if anybody we need to release, we do that at this particular time so they're aware. I know the chief of staff will give an update on the COVID situation. Talked to him during the agenda review on yesterday.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
if you-
sir.
If you can, you see there's a lot of memoranda in here. If you can go through them individually, just so that staff can follow along and to know whether the staff who are scheduled to appear must appear or they can be released.
Item number 88.
Okay, and again, I'm sorry, before you start, Mr. Chairman, there is an administration update, and you did mention that.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? Okay, thank you.
Item number 88. Any councilman need? Yes, Mr. Carter, also you're recognized.
Just a quick comment. When I talked to staff the other day in the briefing, I suggested, since this is such a big deal, and I think is a great example of the professionalism of this administration, I think that they ought to come back sometime and present this in detail so the public and we could see all the things that they've done. It doesn't have to do exactly with 88, but this seems to be a big success of this administration. So thank you.
All right, well, you can make a motion this evening, this afternoon in reference to that, to the administration coming back forward with this.
No one then for 88? No questions for 88?
No question for 88, correct?
None.
89.
None.
89 goes with number 90. Did talk to Mr. Beard about both of those, kind of satisfied with those. 91. 92. 93. 94.
I think, yes, I'd like Dennis just to speak to that briefly.
Stringfellow wants staff, is a hero here for 94. 95.
That's a motion to continue.
Correct. Motion to continue on 95.
I'll continue that. October 28th at 9 a.m.
Oh, actually, staff reports, please.
Staff report.
Motion to continue item number 2.
Oh, actually,
Actually,
it's a,
a
it's a
workshop.
workshop. It's a workshop session
Yeah,
here.
October 28th
I
at a
apologize.
workshop.
Okay.
Mr. Dingfellow, motion for item number 95 be continued to October 28th at the workshop. Ms. Maniscalco, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. October 28th, item number 95. Item number 96.
That's mine, Mr. Chairman. I don't need anybody from staff here. In the interest of time, et cetera, we have a long agenda. I don't.
I did want to ask a few questions on 96, sir. I want to
Okay.
see where we're at with that. I did tell Ms. Nguyen that I probably would pull that to kind of get a roundabout. I'm tired of going around and around and hearing Vila Brothers. I want to find out exactly what is needed to get this project done at Vila Brothers Park.
I'm sorry.
And if I may, you know, my motion dealt with Vila Brothers as an add-along. It was on disability accessibility in all of our city parks. I mean, I can ask briefly about that, but again, just for staff's purposes, I don't, if I do ask a question, it'll be one or two. I mean, if you're going to ask questions, I can ask one or two, but I don't anticipate this lasting long.
Okay, sir.
Staff has requested on
Yes,
number
sir.
96.
96.
Thank you.
That should be real brief. Item number 97.
That's myself, sir. I do not need anybody here. I think the thing speaks for itself. We've all gotten budget briefings. I did that as a reminder, just in case if we had to bring that issue up, but I think we're pretty darn good.
98. Anything on 98? All right.
Did we get
Mr. Dingfellow, you recognize.
chapter 14, Mr. Shelby, what is it?
Well, I'm sorry. Where are you talking, sir?
Item 98, chapter 14. Remind me what that is?
That's a presentation regarding implementation of, I believe that's the sound issues. I think you'd want a presentation. I believe staff has prepared a presentation
Yeah,
on
we'll
that.
leave that one.
99. I want to hear about that because that's, I've got calls in reference to communities on yesterday, and I believe that some of the issues that are in our community should be going to this, the Code Enforcement Board. I don't think we've really been getting a streamline with that, so we want to hear about that.
Staff present then on 99?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 100,
Item 100 is a presentation.
okay? 101, they present as well, it's land development.
Yes.
102, it's a presentation. 103,
I'm good, thank you.
sir.
103 is then, staff not necessary then?
Not necessarily.
No, I got my information. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think 104, provide a report, reference to 5G.
I'm okay on this. I've gotten plenty of information, and I think it's potential litigation now, so.
I think with 104 with the 5G, I did speak with, I think Ron Wiggins. I think, he has a brief, I wouldn't say update, but a brief description of what, this council can do, what the legislature is said we can't do. I think the public needs to know where we stand on that and where they stand on that.
Staff has requested on
Yes, sir,
104 then?
104.
Thank you.
105 is a resolution. Okay, all right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Shelby, move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Mr. Randall has moved it. Ms. Maniscalco, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, Mr. Shelby, we'll get into presentations, accommodations. I think Mr. Citro is down below. Mr. Citro.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I had to quiet the crowd down. They're all excited about today's presentations and accommodations to our firefighters and to our TPD officers. In interest of time and agreeable to our chair, we're going to do things a little different. Doesn't mean that the TPD officers or the firefighter doesn't deserve the recognition. But again, in the interest of time, we're going to be giving accommodations to the firefighter and police officers first, and then the accolades will be given later. From our partners at Busch Gardens, Buccaneers, Columbia Restaurants, so on and so forth. So I want to present the first TPD officer, Officer James Ing Tang, who is the Officer of the Month for July. And I always start out these commendations by saying, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find out what these officers go through, please attend the Citizens Police Academy for the City of Tampa. I'm a graduate of that. I did that many years ago, and there are some people that will come up and be talking, and they'll tell you their experience of the Police Academy for the citizens of Tampa. It only scratches the surface, but it will show you what these brave women and men go through each and every day. Chief, would you like to explain why this officer is the recipient of this commendation for July?
Thank you, sir. Morning, Council. Ruben Delgado, the Assistant Chief, and I have the honor of presenting 2 awards today for July and August of Officer of the Month. And as you know, we have over 1,000 officers, so we get to pick 12 of these officers a year that do something in their respective areas that stand out among others. So, and for July of 21, Officer James Ning Tang is our Officer of the Month, and he is currently on our motorcycle squad. He's been here for 21 years, and just want to give you, so it's a little unique unit. It's not just a patrol call-taking squad, so I just want to give a little breakdown of what he's done for us as an agency. He is currently our lead motor instructor for the squad. So the new motor officer candidates that want to be on this squad have to go through a pretty intense 80-hour motor school and then an additional 40-hour tactical school, and that is just to prepare them for being hours on the road, being able to take maneuvers that can save lives, both citizens and themselves. It's one of the hardest schools in any specialty teams that we have. Historically, the failure rate, it was 2 in 10 originally used to pass this class. That's how difficult the class was. Since Officer Ning Tang has taken over as the lead instructor, we have seen where our pass rate now is 8 in 10. So he is getting the message to the officers in the candidate school, doing a great job of getting it filled. It's leading to a reduction in our injuries. It's leading to a reduction in our crashes and safer streets and the cops being safer on the road as well. In addition to that, Officer Ning Tang developed the curriculum for what a lot of people know as the Tampa SMART class, which is the Safe Motorcycle and Rider Techniques course. It's a 2-day motorcycle class for civilian motorcycle riders that we put on free of charge for the citizens. This basically is a class to give them some knowledge of street safety, some tactics on how to prepare to drive on the streets of the city. And basically, what he has been able to do, there's now a waiting list to get into that class. And what he's been able to do is create a safer environment for them to drive in the city, potentially lower our motorcycle fatalities in the city. So that is something that he takes pride in. And the citizens are responding well, as there's a long waiting list to get into those classes. So some of the other things that he does that goes unnoticed with the Motor Squad is all the parades that we ask him to do, all the escorts that are being done, any of the presidential visits that come into town. He is one of the leaders of the Motor Squad who does it without asking, adjusts their schedules. So for that and all the work he's doing to keeping the streets safe with motorcycle safety, Officer Ning Tang has been awarded the July Officer of the Month.
Now, Officer, my colleagues have dubbed me Scooter Joe because I like to ride the scooters, electric scooters around the city. But as you and I have discussed, I am a Harley rider, and I know what it's like at the end of the day riding a motorcycle around the city of Tampa. But I'm going to tell the citizens, beware. Beware. You cannot see these motorcycle cops behind trees. And they got their radar guns, and they're looking for you. Beware.
He's good at it.
Officer Tang, because of your dedication to service, commitment to excellence, going above and beyond, the call of duty, you have been chosen for this mark of distinction as Officer of the Month. Tampa City Council, your peers and superiors would like to recognize you for your hard work, dedication to the community in which you serve. We commend you for empowering motorcyclists, and in doing so, saving lives and keeping our streets safe. In this honor, City of Tampa City Council presents Officer N. Yang Tang with this commendation on August 26, 2021. All right. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Chief, appreciate it. Thank you.
You got some people behind you need to introduce.
You can say a few words. You can address council.
Well, first of all, this is a welcome surprise, and let me also say this, that we have a squad of 15 members, and on our squad, we also have 5 other instructors that actually help in keeping the squad safe. And as far as the civilian motorcycle program that we have going on, understand that this is just it's not a one-man show. I have 8 and 10 other guys that actually carry on with me when we put this course on. So these accolades I share with the squad, and again, thank you very much. All right, now let me introduce my wife. This is Deborah, and all the programs that I've put on, and all the let me put it this way. She's an English major, and she did all the correcting on all my programs and PowerPoints and everything else. So yes, I do share this with her. And Mom. All right, Mom. And last but not least, this is my mom, Patricia, and pretty much everything that I know and I've done is all to her and my dad also. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Vieira, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, sir. Officer, we thank you very much so for your service. And you obviously have a very, very kind demeanor, one that I'm sure serves you very well in dealing in situations that can be very caustic and difficult and whatnot. You have a very, very difficult job, and it's great that you have your family here, including your wonderful mother. And to your mom, just know that the city of Tampa and people across Tampa, Florida, and the United States of America honor and respect what your son does for a living, and we're thankful for what you do, sir. But I wanted to compliment you again on your sunny demeanor. You need that in that job. You need that in that job. I'm a big believer in diplomacy, and I'm sure you champion it well. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, council, appreciate
Mr.
it.
Maniscalco, you recognize.
Congratulations, sir. You're not the first from the motorcycle unit that has been recognized. There's also, speaking of very kind and positive demeanors, there was Roy Paz a couple years ago, who I say he's the nicest guy in all of Tampa, and I think you're right up there with him. And we appreciate what you do. It's being on a motorcycle is dangerous because we see how people drive, but you're out there, you're keeping our community safe. I know many of your hiding spots, and I know when not to speed, but I appreciate all that you do, and you and your squad and everybody there. So congratulations, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Carlson, you recognize.
Yep, just to echo, thank you to you and your family for all you do and the sacrifices you make. Similar to what Councilman Maniscalco said, my district is South Tampa, and so when I'm driving on Bayshore, my first reaction is fear, and when I see the motorcycles, and I look down, and luckily I'm always driving 35, and then the next feeling is happiness, because in my district, one of the biggest complaints we get is speeding on Bayshore, and I know my neighbors in and around Bayshore are always very happy to see you all there. The people you write tickets to, I'm sure, are not, but people want to be able to enjoy Bayshore safely and all the other roads and neighborhoods. So thank you so much for all you do to protect us and make us safe.
Thank you, and just know that we instill that fear with love.
Mr. Randall?
Thank you very much, Officer James Tankang. It's a pleasure to see somebody with a motorcycle operation to get a certificate. I believe you're the first one. I haven't seen one. And I know Mr. Citro drives a Harley. I'm not as courage. I don't have the courage that you and him have. So I don't have a Harley, but I do have a 64 Silver Eagle Cushman. It looks just like a Harley, and I haven't taken it out in about 20 years. But just for you, I'm going to have it redone. Maybe one day you want to take it out for a ride. I appreciate you and your family and everything you do. It's not easy being a police officer, and you face everything. You see things that people in life don't even recognize that are happening. And from the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank you and your family for letting you do the things you do best. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Well, there was an old saying when Sluga was out there, and some of the old timers, don't lay that bike down. And it's great to see that the numbers have increased because the motorcycle unit does a lot of work. They're working all the time with parades, dignitaries, traffic law enforcement. These guys work endlessly. And again, I just want to thank you for what you do and being a good lead instructor. Like I always tell people, when people phase out of programs, sometimes it depends on the instructor. Everyone teaches differently. If our rate is 8 to 10 now, it means you're doing a hell of a job to keep those guys moving and get guys on those bikes. So again, thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Citro, who's up next?
Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Mr. Chair and council members, we are also here to honor with a commendation Corporal Lance E.
Muted.
Baker, who is our
Unmuted.
Officer of the Month for August 2021, but I'm going to let the chief here explain the reason why this officer is deserved of this commendation.
Thank you, sir, and again, thank you, council. Lance Baker was recognized for the August Officer of the Month, and as a corporal of the squad, he is the leading training officer of the squad, as Chairman Goods alluded to a little while ago, and he takes that job seriously. And I'll give you a couple examples of how his leadership came out in his squad and how he helps with the younger officers on the squad. Corporal Baker was responding to an in-progress domestic call, which we got information that the defendant was holding his ex-girlfriend by a chokehold and had a knife to her neck. threatening to
Unmuted.
kill her.
Muted.
Officer Baker was the first one to arrive on scene. He was able to get a visual of the suspect and the girlfriend in the house. When the other officers were arriving, he coordinated the efforts of the other officers, directed them to where to go, and was able to de-escalate the entire situation, where we were able to take the guy into custody with a safe conclusion. Saving the victim's life, and this action was something we awarded Corporal Baker with the Tactical Excellence Award, which is an award that we give out to officers that show extreme patience in sometimes critical incidents or deadly force situations where they're able to de-escalate without having to use some sort of force that would deadly force. So those actions were, when you see it on body-worn camera, was pretty brave actions of Corporal Baker. So another incident was he went to a normal call of somebody just finding their stolen trailer at a vacant residence, and his leadership and his tenure there realized it was something more than just a regular one stolen trailer. He was able to uncover a large theft ring that led to the recovery of several trailers, tens of thousands of dollars of stolen property, and was able to shut down a local theft ring that had popped up. So in addition to all the police work that he's doing on the street, Corporal Baker is also one of our biggest advocates for Operation Restore. Operation Restore is a place where our first responders can receive assistance in working through a lot of the stuff that they see every day and the physiological and psychological difficulties that they have in the performance of their job. His involvement in this resource has helped paving the way for many other officers to receive the same assistance and to help them recover after responding to difficult calls. I think, sometimes cops are the last ones to say that they need help or they need to talk to somebody. And Corporal Baker's championed this program and has made it a lot easier and paved the path for more officers to take advantage of this program. So in recognition to everything that he's doing, everything he has done, Corporal Baker has been awarded the Officer of the Month for August 2021.
Get on up in here.
It is the training that TPD does from within. And without officers like you and Officer Tang to train our up-and-coming officers, our new officers, to be better officers, we would stay at a certain level. So I thank you for training your fellow officers. Officer Baker, because of your dedication to service, commitment to excellence, and going above and beyond the call of duty, you have been chosen for this mark of distinction as Officer of the Month. Tampa City Council, your peers, and your superiors would like to recognize you for your hard work, dedication to the community in which you serve. We commend you for your life-saving, quick thinking, your work in stopping a major theft ring, and your advocacy encouraging first responders to seek help that they need and deserve. It is the honor of Tampa City Council to present Corporal Lance E. Baker with this commendation on August 26, 2021.
First, I'd like to take this off for a second. First, I'd like to say thank you to the staff. The support that we've received in this department is overwhelming. It's been an excellent career here, and I truly enjoy it. I'm going to introduce my family here in a moment, but first I'd like to say this. So for the past year and a half, things have been difficult for a great many people. Many have lost loved ones. They've lost financial security, physical and mental health as well. With this pandemic came isolation, anger, riots, and general dissatisfaction with life as we knew it. In May of this year, after 27 years in law enforcement, I realized I was having a difficult time and had reached a breaking point. I was terribly sad at the thought of leaving a career and the community I've loved serving. Fortunately, God had other plans. Through His timing, I was offered the opportunity to participate in Operation Restore. For those who are unfamiliar with that program, it is a nonprofit organization whose goal is to help first responders work through various traumas, experiences, and issues that may be adversely affecting their lives and their occupation.
I spent a week working through things I hadn't even realized were affecting me, and was able to come back to the street as though a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. I rediscovered the joy of serving this community. The incidents cited in this award all occurred in the time following my participation in Operation Restore. Clearly, having the opportunity to address these issues I have been struggling with have benefited not only me and my family, but the citizens I serve. I pray the city continues its support of Operation Restore and its mission to care for the mental well-being of first responders in the Tampa Bay area. In closing, I'd like to thank my line of supervision who have afforded me the opportunity to participate in Operation Restore, as well as Dr. Dan Middlebrook, who is here with us today, and Pastor Rick Malovic, who run the program. I'd like to thank my wife and children for always standing behind me and keeping me grounded as to what's important in life. Above all, I thank God for working all things to His glory. So thank you all, and thank you for, again, to my family. Without them, it's nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Vera, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sir, thank you so much for, a lot of times when we go through things that are very personal to us, challenges, struggles, emotional challenges like you've just talked about, it's so hard to share them in public because you don't know what kind of a reception you're going to get, because if you don't get a reception as sincere as your words, sometimes you feel a little cut off. But just know that the reception you got up here is 110%. We appreciate you. We appreciate all that you do. I appreciate you. I appreciate your service. And I appreciate that beautiful family behind you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Mr. Maniscalco, you recognize.
Thank you very much. Sir, congratulations. As Councilman Vieira said, we do appreciate you, and we appreciate the sacrifice you make every time you put on that uniform, but more importantly, we appreciate the sacrifice and the patience and the love from your family as they loan you out to us. They give you to us, to our community, to protect us and to keep us safe. So we appreciate you very, very much, and congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Carlson, you recognize.
Yeah, I just want to echo the thanks to you and your family for the sacrifice and commitment that you make. We've heard a lot from the community in the last year and a half, couple years, and two of the things we heard loud and clear is that we need to focus on mental health and also de-escalation. And to those members of the community who have asked us for that, I think the fact that you're getting this accommodation shows that your peers and colleagues are celebrating it and working on it, and the fact that you're in that program shows that we're taking it seriously. And I want to thank you for all that you've done, but the dedication of helping all first responders is such an important task and a huge mission, and we could never thank you enough for that. And the de-escalation, from what I understand in talking to your colleagues, it takes excellent training, but also experience, and most importantly, wisdom. And so, thank you for that, and thank you for being an example for everyone else. Thank you.
Mr. Dingfellow, you recognize.
Thank you, Master Corporal Baker. Agenda item 5 has to do with TPD and TFR, mental health. Council, we spent a lot of time talking about the mental health in the community, and perhaps, we didn't look at ourselves in terms of, what your job, and it's not just the last 2 years, it's your job takes a toll, and we need to recognize that. Agenda item 5 speaks to making sure that we provide emotional, psychological support to all of our first responders, especially at TPD. Leadership comes in a lot of different ways, and your leadership and as was said earlier, and stepping forward and stepping out and speaking to this and saying how important this type of program is exactly the kind of leadership that everybody in the department needs, and they will continue to look to you and ask you about that. And I see your family nodding their heads behind you there. And the chief and I were talking about this just yesterday in terms of expanding some of these programs, and just we make sure everybody goes in for their annual checkup and their blood work, and I just did it this week, you know, and my family's happy about that, but we need to make sure that, you know, that everybody's head is on straight too. And that's for everybody's benefit, including and especially yours and your fellow officers. So we'll talk about that later on Agenda 5, but again, I appreciate, I admire your courage and your leadership, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Randy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Corporal Beck, I want to say thank you, your family. You know, today's police officers have to be more than just someone carrying a badge. You have to be like a doctor. You have to be a psychiatrist. You have things that are coming at you because the pressure of life has changed since you and I were young. And now you have so many things. The kids under pressure from the time they wake up in the morning to at night. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, there was no thing as computers. There were no cell phones. Everybody knew everything without any information. So they had a great operation. I mean, and now, because of all these distraction of life, everybody's pressured to succeed. When we were growing up, the only thing they asked you was be a nice person, get your education, get married, and have a good life. Now there's so much pressures on these young men and women. And when you see a situation like the one you talked about and dealt with, the person you're talking to may tell you one thing, but you have to evaluate not only what that person is telling you, but is the body language equal to the same language as the tongue is coming out with you in the words. So you have to make that split decision in 1/100th of a second, whether the body and the tongue is working together or not. So you understand what you have to do and how you got to approach it. So you have to be, again, almost a genius to handle these things. So we want to thank you again. I know training means a lot, but there's nothing like field experience. It's much more important than training, because if you're trained and you never held one, you don't know what you're going to do. You have faced a situation and you handle it perfect. Thank you and your family for what you've done, continue to do for us in this great city every day. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and well said.
Thank you, Mr. Miranda. Well, Corporal Baker, somebody who knows the inner workings, and I say this sincerely, it took a lot of guts to tell the public your story. It takes a lot of guts to tell the inner workers of the police department your story. Because in the early days, you didn't dare even mention or talk about you having some issues. I think the chief knows what I'm talking about. And I think with the program that you've got involved with, because I'll tell the public right now, when you go and you see a kid that's dead, or you get involved in a shooting, or you get in a drag-out fight, or you got to do an investigation, and there's nobody you could go home and talk to and share about that investigation. And you holding all that in. But sometimes you may have to go home as a police officer, firefighter, and you have family things that you have to do at home. You have family issues as well. And those things get bottled up sometimes. So I'm glad that you were part of this program. I want to find out more about it. Glad Mr. Dingfelder did pull the item. I had looked at the polygraph, but I knew we were going to have some other discussions later on next month about that. But I'm glad that he did kind of pull it, so we can kind of talk about that a little bit. But I'm glad you're ready to tell your story, and hopefully some other guys will be a part of this program who are going through some issues at home or other places to get that extra help they may need. So again, thank you for what you've done. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, sir.
Gentlemen, we have the NAACP.
Looks like Joe's got something.
And,
Yes,
Joe,
Mr. Chair, I'm going to turn that over right now, and then we'll get to the firefighter
Thank
of the
you,
quarter,
sir.
okay? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Gentlemen, it is item 44, and the gentleman, we didn't know he was going to be here, but apparently was able to come, and our city attorney is going to tell us about this individual and about the resolution. We can go ahead and pass that now so we can get this out the way. Ms. Kamari?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of City Council. Kamaria Pettis-Mackel from the City Attorney's Office. I'm appearing at this time in regards to item number 44 on the agenda. Council members, I would like to introduce Mr. Robert Irvin. He is the NAACP's nomination for who would like to serve on the Citizens Review Board. He is here to answer any questions, but I did provide each council member a letter from the NAACP stating that Mr. Irvin is in fact the NAACP's nomination for the position for the CRB.
Thank you, Kamaria. We appreciate that, and perhaps gentlemen would like to speak to us for a second. And Mr. Shelby tells us we need to actually hold off on our vote until after public comment. So, Mr. Irvin, don't take that personally, but Mr. Irvin, if you'd like to say a few words on why you decided to step forward and represent NAACP on this important panel, come to the microphone, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Dingfelder. It is a pleasure and an honor for me to represent the NAACP in this important role in our community. And I do it wholeheartedly and with a heart of service. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Thank you.
Mr. Viera, any comments, sir?
No, I mean, just in the interest of time, I did some background checks on you. I don't mean background check, like a Google, if you will. You seem like a fine gentleman with good values, et cetera, from what I saw, and I trust our friends at the NAACP, and for the record, I'll be voting yes. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Maniscalco.
Sir, you and I met recently at an event. We sat next to each other and we spoke at length. And again, I heard your story, and I heard more about you from other individuals, and I know that you have been involved in the community and are well respected by a lot of people, and I would confidently support your appointment to this board. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Carlson.
Good to see you, and thank you so much for stepping up. Most people, when someone gets a position like this, thinks about the honor of getting it, but they don't know or see all the work that goes behind it. And so really appreciate people like you, folks who are willing to volunteer their time to really make a difference in the community. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
Mr. Dingfelder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Police Citizens Review Board now has some enhanced powers and authority and abilities. And so it's a new day and a new frontier, we hope and pray there's never anything to investigate, and that would be wonderful. We'd all be happy if you guys had had nothing to do, but that's probably not reality. Reality is things happen, and that's why the CRB, the Citizens Review Board, was created. I'm thrilled that you're there as obviously as a fine citizen and as a representative of a fine organization like the NAACP. I would urge you and all of your fellow members, and it probably goes without saying, to ask the tough questions, because that's what representing the community is all about, and that's what we try and do on City Council. And I'm sure you will as well. So thank you for your stepping up to serve for the next 4 years.
Thank you.
Miranda.
Thank you. I want to thank the NAACP branch of Hillsborough County and Yvette Lewis as president. I think they made a fine choice in you, sir. Mr. Irvin, you have stepped forward, and when you step forward, you can never take a step backwards, because the future is there, and we've made changes. Things change in life for the better and sometimes for the worse. In this case, I believe it's for the better, and to make sure that things go as they should go. I want to thank you for being strong enough to take the foot forward and be nominated and be selected by Yvette Lewis and the Hillsborough County branch of the NAACP. Appreciate it very much. Good things forward. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. When I saw your name, I did some investigating of my own.
Okay.
And you are going to be a great representative for the NAACP. I look forward to working with you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councilman Citro.
You recognize Ms. Carlson.
Just one more small thing for anyone who didn't watch all the conversations about the CRB. The idea to put this NAACP position was the mayor's idea, and I want to thank her. I'm sure all of us are thankful to her that we're trying to adequately represent the community. So thank you to her for suggesting.
Well, come on back up, Brother Urban. Don't run from the mic. Well, gentlemen, I know him personally. I know his background, military background. I know his community service. He is a part of one of the noblest and greatest clans of them all, Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. And I know that he will do an excellent job. And I want to commend the NAACP for a great choice, because I know he is going to be unbiased, and I know he is going to be able to look, because he's been in the military. He understands both sides of the coin. And when you have a person who understands a civilian world and a non-civilian world, it gives you a great candidate. So I'm happy about the choice, and we'll be making the vote after public comment per our city council attorney. We have to wait for public comment, and then we'll make that choice. But I don't think it'll be a problem. From what I heard, I think it'll probably be a unanimous decision. And again, thank you for being willing to serve in this capacity. And we'll give you the good word probably in about a couple of hours.
Thank you, Councilman Good.
You're recognized, Mr. Vieira.
One thing I also wanted to suggest, that I believe there in the second floor is the soon-to-be colleague of yours, Colonel DJ Reyes, who sits on the review board as well. He's a veteran like yourself. If you haven't met him, a good guy to shake his hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit later, Ms. Mario.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for accommodating. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Citro, you're back up with item number 2 with the fireman of the quarter.
We got to let this lovely lady clean this off first.
Gentlemen, our wonderful aide, Mr. Maniscalco's aide, Ms. Edwards, has asked me, there are a bunch of fire and police on the second floor, and she'll need to clear it out. So we'll be taking at least a 2 to 3 minute recess to clear them out, because the Hispanic Heritage Committee has a bunch of people as well, and we want to make sure we give them this time as well.
This is the man that's in on it. You just go stand over there for a second now. Get up in here. Sorry, I had to tell the chief it's an honor to stand next to her. She makes me look better, but this is the person that we're honoring today. I'm going to say this, ladies and gentlemen. I talk about this Tampa Citizens Police Academy. I'm a graduate of the Tampa Fire Academy. And as my other colleagues up on the dais know, we have gone over to Pinellas for their fire academy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see what these brave women and men go through at the fire department, go to their fire academy for the citizens of Tampa, and you will find out. In one day, you will resuscitate a person driving 40 miles an hour in an ambulance. You will go up 70 feet in a fire ladder. You will go through a smoking building and carry out a body. And that's not even having to cook for your firefighters at your station. So I'm going to tell you the things that they go through. You will learn at this academy. We are here today to honor Captain Ryan Bradford and give him the accommodation for Firefighter of the Quarter, August 2021. But I'm going to let Chief explain the reason why he is deserving of this commendation. Chief?
Good morning, Council. Barbara Tripp, Fire Chief for Tampa Fire Rescue. So actually today, to honor this young man, it's a great honor. I have known Captain Bradford for many years. For the 19, 20 years he's been on this job, I think we've been together probably about 15. He wants to call me his mom, but I can't take that away from his mom. So I'm like his bigger sister, you know. So Captain Bradford has been, when I say a valuable asset to Tampa Fire Rescue and the citizens of the city of Tampa, he is very dedicated, very motivated. He was nominated to be the Firefighter of the Quarter because of his outstanding leadership. Just to tell you a couple things about Captain Bradford, he's been on the job since 2002. Even though he has a family history and tradition because his father served many years with Tampa Fire Rescue and is definitely a legacy, but the new Captain Ryan Bradford actually fulfilled his father's shoes and continued to excel throughout his career. So Captain Bradford was a firefighter, he was a paramedic, he was a rescue lieutenant, And basically, currently now he is a captain in the process of riding up as an acting chief. So what's funny about, or I should say ironic with Captain Bradford, for the many years that we have been together, and honestly, me and him was together when we responded to Corporal Roberts many years ago. We have been a team. When I say a team, we have been a team. So of course, every promotion I get, he gets that promotion. So it's kind of like been a challenge, you know. So one day he's going to be the fire chief. So he's going to continue to pursue to try to be the fire chief. So I like to take some credit for his leadership and guidance. You know, out of the 15 years, I can't take away mom and dad history, the way that they've raised this young man, but I can take credit for some of his leadership here with the fire service. So I consider myself his big sister. Okay, because he wanted to tell me I'm 50 years old, but I'm only 29. So just to let you know some of the qualifications of Captain Bradford, he is a hazmat technician. He's definitely worked for Urban Search and Rescue. He's made 2 deployments with Hurricane Michael and I want to say Irma? Harvey and Michael. He's did 2 deployments. And he's represented Tampa Fire Rescue and the city of Tampa very professionally. He is also one of the individuals who actually implemented the Fast Assessment Stabilization Team. So yes, what is that? That is currently the bicycle team that we have for Tampa Fire Rescue, where we have paramedics will provide the ALS service to all members within the community, whether it's at a special event or whether it's one of the functions that we have throughout the city of Tampa. So Captain Bradford, his leadership continue to show these young individuals. Actually, his whole crew is here today to honor Captain Bradford. His leadership that he have showed them as far as training them with the skills that he have. Today, I am very honored to stand next to my friend, my co-worker, my subordinate, but will always be my friend, my younger brother, Captain Ryan Bradford, for his excellent leadership that he's done and commitment to Tampa Fire Rescue.
Captain Ryan Bradford, firefighter of the quarter, August 2021. Because of your dedication to service, community excellence, and going above and beyond the call of duty, you have been chosen for this mark of distinction. As firefighter of the quarter, Tampa City Council, your peers, your superiors would like to commend you for your dedication and commitment. We recognize your knowledge and experience as an asset to Tampa Fire Rescue and commend you on your leadership in various assignments, including during this year's Super Bowl. You got to go to the Super Bowl? I did. Oh man, you're lucky. I didn't get to go. Anyways, it is the honor of Tampa City Council to present Captain Ryan Bradford with this commendation on the 26th day of August, 2021. Thank you, Captain.
Before Captain Bradford say a couple of words, when I got put into this position as the interim fire chief, of course, there was a lot of work to be done. And basically, this is the young man that I called for help. You know, he actually assisted me throughout all the special events that took place in the city of Tampa, as well as Raymond James Stadium, for our special events and for our paramedics to get out there and serve the community. So he did an outstanding job for assisting me throughout the Super Bowl.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate the accolades that I got. It's in no small part to the organization and the administration that I work with, as well as my personnel that I work with on a daily basis. My guys on Engine 1C, fantastic. They make my job easy. My larger family there at Station 1, as well as Chief Reed, for allowing me the opportunities and helping me to progress through my career. None of this is possible without a good, strong backing and family support. I've got my wife, Christina, over here. My sons, Connor and Zachary, and my daughters, Emily and Madison. They really given me all the opportunities to pursue my career, pursue all the specialties within my career, and given me the latitude to take time away from them that I know I won't ever be able to give back to them, but I hope that they understand that it is for a greater good. Where it all comes from, though, is learning through good role models, and I probably got some of the best role models in my life. Both of my grandfathers were public servants. My grandfather, Henry Bradford, was a retired captain with Tulsa Fire Department in Oklahoma. My grandfather was Mark Klaus. He was a retired TPD officer. And both of them are deceased now, but I know that they would be quite proud of what we've accomplished. Currently, my dad was a 30-year retired captain with Tampa Fire, and he really set the precedent and set the bar pretty high. So I hope that in everything that I do, that I make all of my family proud, and that they understand that public service is an excellent calling, not always the most respected when it comes to individuals in this day and age, but definitely a much needed and very respectful calling. Thank you.
Mr. Vieira.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Captain, thank you so much for your service and your words. And I'm so glad, again, that your wonderful family is here to be able to see you receive this honor. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the generational service and as first responders. That you find that a lot, which is a lot of families that have a firefighter, a police officer, or a veteran, somebody in the military, that it's generational because it's a legacy of service, a legacy of running into situations that people like me run away from. And that's something that your family has done again and again and again, as not only with fire, but as a police officer. Both vocations that go together a lot. I always make sure that whenever I talk about fire, I also talk about police and vice versa, because y'all go together. Y'all go together in different situations, but y'all are brothers and sisters in public safety and partners in that regard. So thank you so much, sir, and God bless you.
Mr. Maniscalco, recognized.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, sir. Public service is in your blood, as you've already indicated. It's been instilled in you all your life by those before you, those family members that served, and that's how you were raised, to help and to give back and to serve this community. And I appreciate you. I appreciate your family. Again, the sacrifice they make every time you put on that uniform and go out. But that's just who you are. You are fearless, like so many others that are firefighters and police, because you're here to serve. You're here to protect and take care of us, our community. And you know that each and every day when you go to work. But don't forget the lives that you have changed positively, the people that you've saved, and those that you help each and every day. Congratulations, sir.
Mr. Carlson, recognized.
Yeah, thank you for your service. Thank you to your father for his service, and thank you to your family for supporting you. You talked about the reputation of firefighters or what people think of them. And first of all, I think just about every kid grows up wanting to be a firefighter. So when they're the age of your kids, the firefighters are the most that any kid could aspire to be, because they're so important to people's lives. And then they get distracted by other things, but I don't think that means that they respect them any less. But more importantly, when somebody needs fire rescue, you're the most important people in the world. For those moments, you're the most important people in the world, and they will never forget what you all do. And they have a new respect for it. And hopefully people listening won't have to call. But we all have to know that we need to be thankful that you all are there and that you make sacrifices every day.
Mr. Dingfield, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Captain, I try and avoid trite statements, because my wife tells me I usually mess them up anyway, but that expression that there's no I in team, I think applies to you. When I look behind you, I see your team there. I see the other captains and chiefs and your father and your wife and your children, and that's your team. And you mentioned it in your statement that you couldn't do it without them. And I know how important they are to you, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate your team that's there supporting the great things that you do in our community. So thank you to all of you.
Mr. Moran, you recognized.
Again, Captain Bradford, thank you again for yourself and your family. You work as one. You do the duty, but they're the ones who are pulling the time without you. And it's a marriage that really holds together, because when you work 24 hours straight and you go home, you didn't sit at the fire station. You had many, many calls and many, many scenarios that most of the public could never understand what you men and women do in the police department and fire department. And it's incumbent upon everything you said as to why we have a great city and the success that we have. But you also mentioned about your family tree, how many people have been in the department or other departments, and Citro talking about, and other, Vieira also mentioned about the amount of individuals that follow in the footsteps of someone in their family. However, you don't find that too much in the political arena, I hate to say. Some do, but very few compared to the amount that join or try to join and emulate what their parents did, men and women. And now you have a diverse department that 30 years ago you didn't have. There was certain areas only for men in both, and now you have the diversity of men and women. And all of you together, working together, making one fantastic team for the city of Tampa. And I remember many years back, and sometime in the 90s, I took that hazmat course. And I said, my God, they know from what explodes, what doesn't explode, what time it's going to explode, what heat it takes. They really do a fantastic job, like what you do in your position, sir. And we want to thank you. You know, sometimes we forget what men and women in the fire and police department do until you need them. I know there's an emergency at the house, you call it 911. The first thing you want to do is see the individuals come up and put an armband on you, give your blood pressure, do this, and you feel much better just looking at them. And I want to thank again all of you, your family. God bless them for putting up with you being off 24 hours. And God bless you and your family. Thanks again for what you've done.
Well, Mr. Miranda and Mr. Citro, I am not going to let my good friend Luis Vieira go to no fire academy. He ain't going to no fire academy. You understand? But let me say this.
But Mr. Chair, we made it out of there.
we sure did. We it was teamwork. We got him out of there, right? But you know, it's always great. I always tell people generations. My dad always told me, I want my kids to be better than I was. And I think your dad is seeing that by what the fire chief is saying. You're at another level, and you'll probably be at another level shortly. I'm sure the way the chief is speaking highly of the work you've done as far as when she first became the interim chief and you were able to come to her side and help her with some of the things that needed to be done in this fire department. And as we all can see, the fire department is moving in a different direction, and we're proud of our fire chief and the people that she has working beside her to move it to where she wants it to go for our citizens. I always tell citizens and people who doubt, sometimes we make special votes about public safety and our fire and our police department. And I always ask them, can you do what they do? Can you run into a fire? Can you do CPR? Can you stop somebody from a fight who has a gun? And I always ask that question. No, that's not for me. Well, somebody has to do it. Someone has to do that job. I'm glad that you're doing that job with our Tampa Fire crew and with our new fire chief. God bless you and your family, and thank you for what you do.
May I say something, Mr. Chair, really quick, if I may?
You're recognized,
To
sir.
clarify that, what the chairman was talking about, one day Councilman Citro Goods and I went with, now my wife, Colleen O'Brien, to this Tampa Fire training thing, and I flunked out. I did. Awful. Joe Greco had to pull me out of this building, okay? I was wearing these pants without suspenders. My pants dropped. It was so embarrassing. It was so, but it's funny. It goes to the thing that when it's in your blood, because my wife, right, whose great-grandfather was a Boston firefighter, his brother was a cop down, Marines, cops, firefighters, all the way to her dad who was a cop and a Marine. She aced it, but me, I don't have it. I don't have what it takes. So there you go. So I just wanted to clarify that. I'm glad to laugh at myself anytime.
It's funny now, folks, but it wasn't funny then. I'm going to tell you, it's funny. We can laugh about that, but when the rubber hit the road that day when we were in there, that was a serious deal. And Mr. Citro can tell you. And I'm glad I did have a little experience because I've been in a fire before and gone in, you know, and smoking and knew what to do. But I can tell you one thing, you know, and it's a key thing, you know, that hose is a lifesaver. You don't let go of the hose, because if you let go of the hose, you're lost. And fortunately, Me and Mr. Sister, we didn't let go. We were able to get ourselves back out. But it is a panicky moment to be all in black and you can't see. So I just want to say thank you, gentlemen, for the experience and being able to tell that story. And again, my good friend, we appreciate you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Mr. Chair,
Yes,
we are now going to allow those that want to give the gifts to these police officers and firefighters the chance to do that before we take a break.
We don't have time. I thought we were going to do that out there, but I think you recognize all of the folks. We're behind time. It's already 10 after 10, so I prefer that we recognize those names that you already given, and we're going to take this break because we've got to get the Hispanic folks next because we're running way behind time.
I understand it. I'm sure the firefighter and the police officers will understand also. I just need to make this statement while we are here on the Tampa firefighters. We as city leaders realize that their job will never get easier. But we as leaders in the city of Tampa need to help ease their jobs, and this city needs 2 new fire stations, one in the north, one in the south, needs satellite offices so that we can have fire rescue and we can have rescue vehicles in necessary places. And I stand firm on that, and I hope that I can get support on that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, we're going to take a 3 to 5 minute recess, 5 minutes for Ms. Edwards so she can clear everybody out and we get the next crew up so we can get this thing moving. We're in recess for 5 minutes, Mr. Chairman.
We're gonna walk. Man, look at that girl up there. Through the park. See what she got on under the tree? We're gonna walk. Look at that one over there, man, with the hot pants on. Through the park. Eddie's girl, you better leave her alone. We're gonna walk. She just whipped that, man. Lord, have mercy. Through the park. Don't you bother my baby. Don't tell her what you do. Don't you bother my baby. Don't tell her what you do. Well, that girl, she may cut you. She may cap you. I'm going out walking down on the street. Well, I'm going out walking down on the street. I'm gonna walk her so long, 'cause I know she can't be beat.
why you want me, baby. Did me like you please, but after 10 long years, my heart began to get easy. That's alright. Whoa, that's alright. It's alright the way you're doing me, baby. You'll be sorry one day. Well, whenever there was trouble, I was always around. But when you got on your feet, you know you put me down. That's alright. Whoa, that's alright. It's alright the way you're doing me, baby. You'll be sorry one day. Well, it's one thing about the women that I just can't understand them. Everything they need, but still they want another man. That's alright. Whoa, that's alright. It's alright the way you're doing me, baby. You'll be sorry one day. Well, when your troubles start to falling, baby, just like the rain, you're gonna need me, baby, just to hold your hand. That's alright. Whoa, that's alright. It's alright the way you did me, baby. You'll be sorry one day. 3, hit!
Carlson.
Here.
Maniscalco. Dingfelder. Citro. Vieira.
Here.
Miranda.
Here.
And Good.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
Thank you, madam. Okay. Julio's here today, huh? How you doing, my friend?
How you doing?
All right, we're here to have the Hispanic. I think Mr. Miranda, this was your motion.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, it's my motion, and this is a historical thing when they come up once a year about this time and speak about the 33rd Annual Hispanic Heritage. And we're very proud of everyone here. They've done a fantastic job for many years, and I'm sure they'll continue for many years hereafter. Yes, sir.
All right. Tell us about it, Julio.
Okay, good morning. My name is Julio Barrera. I'm the chair for the Mayor's Hispanic Heritage Committee. We're here to extend an invitation to this year's Mayor's Hispanic Heritage Celebration. This was our 33rd year event. It will take place at the Tampa Municipal Office Building right here in the courtyard, September the 28th at 11 a.m. This year, due to the pandemic, we are hosting a smaller size event to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. This New Year's program, we're going to have recognition for winners of our first annual Hispanic Heritage Poster Contest, and we'll also have live entertainment for the limited attendees that will take place that day. The entertainment is going to be City of Tampa, Tampa Gym and Dance, and then we will also be providing free food for the first 80 attendees that show up.
Well, thank you, sir. I think Mr. Vieira is coming down. He wants to say a few words. So I'm going to give him a few seconds to get downstairs. Mr. Maniscalco, anything, sir?
Nothing, sir. Thank you for the invitation, and we look forward to being there and joining you, and we appreciate all that you do and the team effort here, and being that, you know, I'm the son of immigrants. I'm the proud son of immigrants. My mother is from Cuba. I'm a first generation here, so, you know, I have a special place in my heart because You know, it's my family's story and the story of a lot of people that have come to Tampa and built the foundation of what Tampa is built by the Hispanic community and many other immigrants. So we appreciate you and we look forward to the event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cross?
No, thank you for doing this. And could you, if you haven't already, could you please email us any graphics you have so we can post them on our social media channels to promote it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Drew.
I cannot wait for this to happen. This is going to be great, and I'm proud that you're carrying on this tradition for all these years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Y como dice mi hermano, para adelante, para atrás para coger impulso. Para adelante, para adelante. Ustedes siempre hacen un tremendo programa y se dedican mucho a reconocer a los hispanos como nosotros, y un placer estar con ustedes año tras año tras año.
Muchas gracias.
Me gusta el pelado que usted tiene, que es igual que el mío.
Gracias.
I'm going to have to talk to the IT guys. I'm looking at the screen that says, you speak in Spanish, but I don't know what the hell you're saying, huh?
I said, everything is nice. Go forward, never take a step backwards. And I told him I commended him on his haircut. It looked just like mine.
Well, you know, thank you for the invite. Please send us all the information to our offices so we can participate. I'm going to see if I can get Ms. Matos in the clerk's office and maybe Mr. Vieira to polish up on my Spanish a little bit so I can walk around and speak a little Spanish. Huh? So I think Mr. Vieira was coming down to the second floor.
He might be there for the next item, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's right. The next item.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for giving the invite, and we look forward to your event. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. And I also want to say, I can't do anything here without the people behind me, and we have a much larger group that couldn't attend today, but this committee has worked very hard putting this together.
Thank you, Julio. I'm going to wear my mask you gave me from last year, too.
All right, take
appreciate
care.
it very much.
Muchas gracias.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for waiting. Next up, item number 4, we have Mr. Vieira with Colonel DJ Reyes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. And I appreciate this a great deal, Mr. Chair, because I motioned for this last week. I just thought it was very important in light of a lot of emotions happening in the Tampa community right now with regards to Afghanistan and the war in Afghanistan and the ending of that. And I thought it was so important to have my good friend, Colonel DJ Reyes, come and give some very brief words on the valor of the men and women who have served in Afghanistan and whatnot. Colonel Reyes comes from a military family with his father enlisting in the Army in 1950 and being a Korean and Vietnam veteran. In his 33 years of service in the U.S. Army, Colonel Reyes has been deployed all over, from Bosnia to Haiti to Iraq to Kosovo to Afghanistan. He is the senior mentor in our Veterans Treatment Corps and is here to talk about the valor of our military personnel in Afghanistan. We are also honored to have here with us Colonel Andy Stephen with the United States Air Force Reserve, an Army veteran and Veterans Treatment Corps mentor, and a Gold Star mother, Annette Kirk, who is the Gold Star mother to the late Paul Kazupi, who gave all in Afghanistan just over 10 years ago. So I'll invite Colonel Reyes. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Vieira, for the opportunity to address City Council on the service and sacrifice of our military veterans that supported or are currently supporting the 2 decades-long Afghanistan operation. Support to Afghanistan is especially meaningful for many of us here in Tampa. As you may know, Florida ranks closely behind both Texas and California with the most veterans. In our Sunshine State, Hillsborough County ranks as the top county with the most veterans and active serving military. And in our great city of Tampa, the only Department of Defense military base with 2 4-star combatant command headquarters exists at the very end of Bayshore Boulevard, the U.S. Central Command and the U.S. Special Operations Command. These 2 commands have literally carried the lion's share of the 20-year global war on terrorism. I have the honor and privilege of serving in units under both of these commands, and while deployed in combat theaters of war to include Iraq and Afghanistan. So I feel very confident in saying that there are many in our local community who have proudly fought, shoulder to shoulder, alongside our Afghan brothers and sisters. Afghan support to U.S. forces expanded beyond just interpreter support. It also included a variety of services that assisted in our own security, governance, and quality of life. What must not be lost is the fact that Afghans assisted while under the constant daily threat to their own lives and those of their family members. We live in the greatest nation in democracy known as civilization. And part of this privilege is the freedom to dissent, to disagree, and to even cast blame. I offer this thought to everybody. Now is not the time for that. Rome is burning, and our own American citizens and Afghan supporters are at risk of death. So I want to just leave you with 3 simple thoughts as I urge for the wisdom and decisive action on the part of our senior national leadership. First, to all the veterans out there who served in Afghanistan, you did what you were told to do. You did it with honor, dignity, respect, and fidelity. Your actions positively impacted on the lives of thousands of Afghans, including women and children. You gave them hope for a better future. And in doing so, you also guaranteed the protection of our own homeland from terrorist attacks for the last 20 years. Second, to our Gold Star families, war unfortunately comes at a terrible, terrible cost. However, your losses, our losses, were not in vain. We will always honor our fallen, and we will never, never forget yours, and theirs service and ultimate sacrifice. And third, to our community and to all Americans, our mission now is very clear. We must get our American citizens safely out of Afghanistan, period. The military lives by its mantra of leave no service member behind. This applies to all Americans. Additionally, we must do all that we can to safely evacuate our Afghan supporters who are already being targeted and located by the Taliban. The situation has become so dire that individual organizations comprised of former military, special forces, and intelligence personnel have formed, and they're doing all they can from the back end to get their interpreters and support personnel out of country. As a nation, we have this capability, but time and our remaining options are dwindling, and we're facing a resilient, hardened enemy with other malign actors waiting in the shadows. Again, I and many others urge for the wisdom and decisive action of our senior national leadership. Thank you for your time.
And thank you very much. And I'm going to ask, if I may, Colonel Stephen, to read the names of the 20 individuals from Hillsborough County who gave all in Afghanistan. Colonel.
Thank you, Councilman. Names of the following service members who've given the ultimate sacrifice and enduring freedom that have been from Hillsborough County or with relevant ties to Hillsborough County. Sergeant Daniel McKinnon Agnes. Sergeant Corey Luttrell Clark, Sr. Private First Class Paul Arazio Kazupe II. First Lieutenant Dimitri Alejandro del Castillo. Chief Warrant Officer Scott Dyer. Sergeant First Class Jason John Fabrizi. Lance Corporal Ronald Douglas Freeman. Staff Sergeant Joseph Frederick First III. Corporal Aaron Matthew Grinner. Corporal Frank Robert Gross. Specialist David Allen Hess. Specialist Corey Cole. First Lieutenant Ivan Derek Lekowick. Sergeant First Class Matthew Ivan Leggett. Specialist Eric Nathaniel Lemke. Specialist Christoph J. Marquis. Staff Sergeant Ricardo Cieja. Specialist Zachary Shannon. Corporal Antonio James Sled. And Staff Sergeant Michael Dwayne Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Briefly, any comments, Mr. Maniscalco?
You know, the names were read of these great American heroes, and that's what they are, and that's how they'll always be remembered. While we're here now and long after we're gone, this country is forever grateful for the ultimate sacrifice that they've made. This community, we are grateful to the families and the sacrifices that they've made. They will not be forgotten. They will not be forgotten. I mean, the courage that it takes to go and serve your country in that capacity, you know, knowing the risk that is being taken, but they put country first, and they made that ultimate sacrifice, and those that they served alongside, those that did come back, we are forever grateful. Thank you very much.
Mr. Carlson.
I just want to say thank you to all the individuals you mentioned and to their families for their ultimate sacrifice for our country and for world peace. Thank you.
Councilman Citro.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Regardless of the final outcome of this, the men and women who served our country in Afghanistan did their duty, and they should be recognized for the great service in which they have given to our country and to our citizens. We also need to take a long look at those Afghan peoples that assisted us in doing that duty, and to offer our help that gave their commitment to this country. So, Councilman Vieira, Colonel Reyes, and the others that are downstairs, I thank you for bringing this forward. Thank you.
Mr. Dingfelder, recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Louis, thank you for bringing this forward. It's extremely important. The sacrifice of the Gold Star families is just beyond comprehension, but we just want to let you know as much as we can. Our hearts are with you. Colonel Reyes and I had the good fortune of serving together in Veterans Court, and but we can't forget about the sacrifices of those who come home, because even if they made it back home without physical scarring, sometimes they have emotional and mental scarring, and they end up in our criminal justice system. And we do, when possible, we do need to be compassionate toward those and recognize that certain trauma that resulted from 20 years of that type of fighting and that type of exposure sometimes results in bad behavior. So we have to have compassion and caring, and that's what happens in Veterans Court. So we appreciate that part of your service as well, Colonel. Anyway, thank you, Louis, for bringing this forward.
Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, you have to understand that democracy comes with a lot of things. Unfortunately, one of them is they volunteered. They weren't drafted. These individuals volunteered to save this country again from what happened in 9/11/19. And it's a world that we live in that's very hard to understand. When you look at the Afghanistan thing, how can you lead a country and the president flees because the invaders are coming back? But it's a war there, and the volunteers of these men and women who died there in the fields, giving us the right to live the life that we live today and continue to live, will never be forgotten. No one wants to be a Gold Star mom. No one. And the good colonel just, I think, mentioned 20 in Hillsborough County. It's a sad situation in life, but democracy comes for a price. And the world that I live in, the world that I used to live in, and the world that I see in the future changes every day. What used to take a week to find information, now you find it in a megasecond. And what's happening throughout the world, and especially in other countries, I don't understand it anymore. I don't understand how neighborhoods can fight against neighborhood forever, 5,000 years. And the men and women who gave their life for this country and these Afghanistan and Iran and Iraq, it's something that we will never, ever forget. I want to thank you all very much for being here. Louis, I want to thank you for bringing it to it. And it's something that we'll never forget. Thank you all very much for coming today. You make America better every day. Thank you.
Mr. Vieira, the council always appreciates that you bring these items to our attention and the public's attention, because people just don't know to know. So we have to thank you for that. And to have Colonel Reyes with his experience and expertise, and of course the Colonel and of course the Gold Star mom to come and tell their stories, and so people can see what really happens with families. Sometimes people just don't know to know. So I'm glad that you make us knowledgeable and make this community knowledgeable. And again, we'll take up your resolution at the end of the day, and we can talk a little bit more in reference to making people knowledgeable while you're doing what you're doing. So thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Shelby, we'll get into public comment. How many we have waiting registered, Madam Deputy Clerk? 9.
And
how many we have downstairs? 17. Gentlemen, we have a tough agenda today, and I know people were upset last week, a week before that, about we cut it down to 2 minutes because we were trying to get through. I'm going to see how fast we can do this, but again, I know we have a 3 minutes for a public, and when our rules, it says 2 minutes. When we're over, is it 25?
15. If there were more than 15, and those rules were
15.
temporary, they haven't been officially adopted.
So we're going to try to go ahead and give the 3 minutes today, but I think eventually we're going to have to look at actually being stern on some of these policies, because we have a long agenda and we've got to try to get through it. But I'm not going to hold the 2 minute call today. I'm going to go and do the 3 minutes. So we're going to get through it. Public who are going to speak, please get to what you have to say, and so we can get the next speaker in, so we can give everybody a chance to speak. So thank you for your cooperation. All right, sir, you're first. You can say your name and we'll get started.
Good morning. My name is Wade. I'm also known as Wahid. My last name is Abawi. I've been living in the United States for about 41 years, 20 years of it in Tampa, Florida, and about 21 years in Fairfax County, Virginia. First and foremost, I want to thank the City Council for giving us the opportunity to come down here and talk about Afghanistan, where I was born personally. I just want to talk a little bit about my own background so you know who I am. I've been living in Tampa for about 21 years. My background is in the fitness industry. I was ranked the top trainer national for 3 of the largest fitness organizations in the United States, training professional athletes, celebrities, and also some of the armed force personnel that went to Afghanistan and came back. Some of them with blown legs and arms that came to me, and I helped them all the way around to make sure that they are back in a better shape. One of them was Justin Gardner. Just about 10 years ago, actually, the city and the state built him a house, and about 5,000 people showed up. When he came from Afghanistan, both of his legs was gone. I just want to also talk a little bit about my parents. My father was the head of the whole entire police force in Afghanistan. He is the one who put the police academy of Afghanistan together in the time of Zahir Shah. And same thing with my mother, the best friend of the king and queen of Afghanistan, and the personal seamstress of the king and queen of Afghanistan. So there are many different organizations who has reached out to me personally, such as IGNA Relief, Radiant Hand, Islamic Society of Tampa Bay, CARE Florida, Muslim Democracy for Fairness, and also some of the veterans that has reached out to me, and they all are in a standby to help our community, our people that is coming from Afghanistan. So basically, I'm just here to ask the city that I know for a fact that the majority of the community are in a standby. They are looking forward to help our people, and every single one of those huge organizations, as I said, reached out to me personally and assured me that that's something that they are ready to go. The main reason that I'm here to ask the city to please help us to be able to help my people and be able to help all these huge organizations to be able to accomplish this goal correctly and properly, as we are in a standby. The main thing that we're going to need from the city is to help with job, housing. I understand that the city is limited when it comes into funding, but those Afghans, they do deserve, they didn't only fought for Afghanistan, but they also fought for the people of the United States down here, making sure that they translate correctly and properly to make sure that the American armed forces are not in more harm's way. So as someone who's been in this
Thank
community.
you, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So someone who's been in this community for a long time.
Thank you, sir. Your time is expired.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is Ghadir Qassab. I'm the director of Radiant Hands. Radiant Hands is part of the coalition who presented a statement yesterday in support of the resolution generously initiated by Councilman Luis Vera. We would like to confirm our adoption to the statement and sincerely thank the councilman for his great support. We at Radiant Hands believe every family has the right to live in safety and dignity. That is why we welcome refugees and asylum seekers with open hearts and helping hands. Together with the faith leaders, community organizations, and refugee communities, we lift our voices to advocate for all refugees, for Afghani refugees, and for better policies, better support system. We are standing in solidarity in helping to keep immigrants, refugees, and Afghani families together. Whether through the U.S. asylum system or refugee resettlement program here at home, we help the vulnerable build their lives free from fear. Every day we witness the positive impact of refugees' contributions on our communities, bringing innovations to our city and strengthening our communities through their contributions to our public life and cultural institutions. Radiant Hands is currently providing assistance to over 900 refugees, out of which 125 Afghanis in the Tampa Bay area. Our team will be ready to assist the new families by offering integration, language assistance in their native Pacho and Dari language, while securing food and shelter to address their immediate needs, and long-term assistance in education and employment. This initiative will allow us all to directly impact lives. Thank you for continuing to be pillars in our city, the city of Tampa, standing with our community and charity organization today as we help the Afghani refugees together with other refugees. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. Thank you for letting me speak today on this issue. I've been before you several times talking about the encroachment of commercial vehicles into residential districts.
Excuse me, did he put his name on the record? I'm sorry.
My name is Andrew Moore. I've been in front of you several times to discuss the encroachment of commercial vehicles into residential districts, as shown here. I know that you guys are taking an issue up today with the city attorney to define what is the definition of the commercial vehicle. I've taken a look at the memo from the attorney, and I personally like it a lot. I hope that you guys will like it. I hope that you'll approve it. But I also hope that it will sort out the issue that I've shown here in these pictures. We constantly have, commercial vehicles parked in our residential neighborhood. This is the entrance to our neighborhood. Again, this is the entrance again from another angle. And again, this is that same entrance with our school bus stop. We also have commercial vehicles that park around the corner from there in another area. The lot on the left-hand side here, this is a residential lot, and we're still seeing it used as a commercial parking lot. And while the memo from the attorney today and the recommendation is change it, would get rid of these vans, we still see quite a bit of regular cars parking in these lots. And these lots are being used commercial. Again, this is a residential lot right here. This lot is zoned for commercial, but it's only zoned for 2 cars. We see this encroachment into our neighborhood every day. It happens on all sides of it. And on these pictures, there's houses right on each side of these lots. And there's a residential apartment complex on this side right here. So we need to focus on getting the commercial stuff out of our residential neighborhoods. And while the first step today with the recommendations from the city attorney about not allowing commercial vehicles to park in residential districts is a good one, and it allows for an operator to take their vehicle home. It allows for a vehicle to come onto the neighborhood if they're doing business with a customer in the neighborhood. But we need to continue to tighten up this code and not have this abuse of this right-of-way where they said, hey, you can only park 2 vehicles commercially here. Oh, we'll just put in 10 along the right-of-way. Or, oh, this is residential. Oh, we'll put in 10 vehicles along the right-of-way. There's still major problems to be worked out. I'm very pleased with the first step, though, of getting rid of these commercial vans in our neighborhood and not allowing them to encroach upon it. It's important that the residential neighborhood is treated like a residence. We wouldn't have commercial vehicles parking in that at a commercial residence. We shouldn't see them in a commercial neighborhood unless they're there doing business or unless the operator of the vehicle lives there. I want to thank you again for your time, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. You may begin, sir. State your name.
Good morning. My name is Victor DeMaio. I'm president of the Bowman Heights Neighborhood Association. I'm here with Andrew Moore, who just spoke about our situation. I'd like to point real quick to some pictures I brought with me. The problem we've had with this business in our neighborhood is that they have totally trashed for 5 years. This is what we have to endure every day. Now, sadly, you don't see sidewalks along Kathleen Street. And if there were sidewalks there, which is the right-of-way, these vehicles would be ticketed. But unfortunately, this business continues to ignore the right-of-way and just use the entire neighborhood as their personal parking lot. What we've asked you, besides tweaking this language that we've worked with council now for a year and a half on the commercial vehicle line, as you can see up here, this is a lot. All these are residential lots, and this business was just recently afforded a reduction in parking. Don't ask me why, from 23 spots to 17, but it doesn't matter. They park along our grand entrance and along Kathleen. So what we're asking the city is to please, and we had spoken to a couple of councilmen about this, is to please ask for, if we can go back to the picture real quickly, is to ask for Albany and Kathleen, just that one block, for no parking on right-of-way signs during the daytime. All along the river near in our neighborhood, we've had no parking from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. On the riverfront park. But if we could please beg you, we're begging you, please, if we could please get these no parking on right-of-way signs during the daytime in our grand entrance, we'd be eternally grateful. And hopefully with this tweak in the language today, the commercial vehicles that have been parked in our neighborhood will be start to get ticketed. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. State your name for us and begin speaking.
Hi, good morning, council members. My name is Hiba Rahim. I work for the Council on American Islamic Relations in Florida, and I'm here with the coalition in support of the resolution that's being presented by Councilman Luis Vieira in support of the Afghan refugees resettlement here in Tampa. We're here to support and welcome that resolution. As a coalition and as a member of CARE Florida, we find that very compassionate. It reflects the generosity and responsibility that Americans reflect in the United States and also here in Tampa Bay. And we want to also remind you to please take a look at the statement that the coalition sent, which has some suggestions based on our expertise in these areas in terms of how to better provide for the refugee population as they come to the Tampa Bay area. Finally, I just want to remind you that the coalition has numerous members, some of whom were mentioned to you earlier today: MDF, CARE Florida, Radiant Hands, ICNA Relief in Tampa, all of whom are very well equipped to assist the refugee population. And so we invite you to please utilize our services, from immigration to refugee resettlement, to offer support in whatever way possible so that we can help these individuals resettle in a safe and a responsible and a strategic way. So that can be in the form of immigration, that can be in the form of Medicare, Medicaid, any type of assistance, resettlement in general, charity. These organizations are professional agencies that are ready and equipped, and we stand in support and solidarity with the City of Tampa to move forward and help this become a very easy transition. Thank you very much for your consideration, and we look forward to working together on this issue. Thanks.
Thank you.
Connie Burton, after waiting for, a very long time this morning, I would think it would be highly offensive on this side of the aisle, for people time to be reduced to 2 minutes. Since we're not getting paid to come down here, we're paying for parking to be here, and on your side of the aisle, you're being paid because it's your job. Nonetheless, I want to just rise to the support of item number 44. I think the term of investigating the NAACP candidate was very highly offensive, because if you had done any real investigating, you would see Mr. Irvin, too, is a military veteran that has done extensive work, not only serving his country, but has done extensive work in his community. And so the investigation was based off of what? Which is such a derogatory term to use in the climate in which we are living, when African-American people is under constant assault. I found that to be highly offensive. More than just a simple apology need to be done. As to items 105, people can't never tell the truth about war, how we get there, the cost of the war. The resolution, of course, I would never put myself in direct conflict with anything that's gonna enhance people's life and dignity, but I could tell you this: in East Tampa, where we are having extreme casualties of life, when the cameras are gone and people are still trying to figure it out, we would appreciate a resolution of how do common everyday people in this city, in that community, rise above the issue of poverty? How do people in that community rise above the issues of homelessness, employment, need mental counseling, and have the full support of this counseling outside of the cameras? Every week we come down here, we talk about the same thing, and yet nothing has been done. Yes, it all look pretty, all the beautiful, shiny objects you want to do, the plants, the statues you want to put in the roundabouts, but nothing has transformed that community that help people, and young people in particular, have a dignity in life that will remove hopelessness in our community. You all know it. But it's the smugness and the arrogance of this board that refuse to do anything that improve the quality of Black people's lives in this city. Speak truth to power sometime.
morning, Council. My name is Ernest Johnson. I live at 2119 East Nedrow Road, and I own property in several areas in East Tampa. And as I noticed that they say a $100 million police station is coming to East Tampa, which I understand without police officers, we just can't make it. And I understand that. I understand they need more technology, a better building. I understand that. And the gentrification of that same neighborhood they want to put the police station in is shameful. I mean, I don't have to worry about housing and stuff like that, but my people do. Not just poor blacks, it's poor whites. And I see no movement from the council, the city council or the county council. And what we're asking for is housing. Around that same $100 million police station you want to build, we need that. I understand that. But we also need housing. We need to slow down this gentrification of people that have vested interests in that community. People who invested in that, they got married in that community. They raised children in that community. They paid for the infrastructure in that community. They paid for the dichotomy of what that community is. But now they'll be moved out in houses that they're building there that worth $300,000 and $400,000 that they'll never be able to afford. And we have young couples being married in those neighborhoods. Those people's grandchildren are being married in that neighborhood, but they are building houses that our people can't afford in that neighborhood, and it's very shameful. I hope the council start to look at it when they start talking about the new building and stuff from Tampa Park, the Channel Side, all of this, $25 million to this, $30 million for that, $11 million for that, but they have nothing for the community in East Tampa. And I'm very concerned about that. Because I own property in East Tampa and I want to do better and bigger things in the community, but we need the help of the council. Thank you. We appreciate every one of you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shelby, did you contact Ms. Kamaria Pettis-Mackle about that statement, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just did confirm for the purposes of the public awareness is that with regard to any member and all members of the Police Citizens Review Board, they all are required per the ordinance to go through a background check. So that's part of the process of becoming a member for all members.
Thank you, sir. You may continue, sir. State your name.
Dear esteemed City Council members, good morning. Peace and blessings to you all. My name is Jawad Fayez, and I'm a local real estate professional and a business owner here in Tampa. I'm also a child of Afghan American refugees. I was born here and raised here in Tampa, and I'm a proud alumnus of the USF, University of South Florida. I've come before you here today to ask you to support the proposal brought forward by Councilman Vieira to welcome Afghan refugees into our diverse Tampa community. My father diligently served the American Embassy as a healthcare worker for over a decade in Afghanistan. When it was clear that the Soviet invasion of his country would not allow him and his family to live peacefully, he was forced to leave his homeland and was eventually resettled in the beautiful city of Tampa in 1985. At that time, we were one of the first and only Afghan refugee families in the entire Tampa Bay area when there were very few resources for newcomers like my family, but we were met with much love and support. I stand here before you today as a testament to the fact that when given a chance to prosper, Afghan Americans have excelled and contributed to their local communities in all sectors, including health, business, education, and countless more. Our city has a long history of being a welcoming community for refugees from all parts of the world, and my hope is that we can continue that legacy and be a shining beacon of hope and prosperity for those seeking a better life in our great city of Tampa. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. You state your name, you can begin speaking.
My name is Elizabeth D'Ambrose, and I live in Sky Point in the downtown district. And I'm here to comment on item 81 on the agenda this morning. And you'll
Excuse
be
me,
voting
Mr. Chairman,
on...
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
One moment, Mr. Shelby, you recognize?
Yes, forgive me for interrupting. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. Item number 81 is a public hearing, and I'm going to ask those who are here to speak on the matters related to public hearings on the agenda to please hold your comments so we could take them during the time of the public hearing. If that,
So what he's saying, man, we haven't got to public hearings yet, we're just doing public comment. So when your item 81 comes up, you can speak on that subject matter.
Oh, okay, they told me to come speak now.
That's okay, we apologize for that.
All right,
So,
thank you.
Again, if anyone's speaking on any public hearings who are in the audience or on the line, when we take up that item number, you can speak on that item number, but just general public comment is being taken at this time.
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Good morning, dear council members. Thank you for your compassion, your generosity in hearing this important humanitarian issue of possible
Can you
resettlement
state your
of
name for us, sir?
Afghan refugees. My name is Nek Nazari, and I'm an Afghan American. I have been serving as an emergency room physician in the Tampa Bay area over 8 years. My responsibilities include direct patient care and teaching resident physicians. I fled Afghanistan as a refugee 21 years ago. After spending about 10 years in the Caribbean and the UK, I eventually settled in the US in 2009. I know all too well the injustices committed by the brutal Taliban regime towards anyone who did not share their fanatic beliefs, because I lived through it in 1990s. I am a witness to their terror and the despicable atrocities they have been committing. The real fear of being targeted and killed due to my ethnic and religious background led me to seek refuge elsewhere. Although my primary goal was to save my life, but once I reached safety, I worked extremely hard through enormous challenges to become a doctor. In general, Afghans are grateful, hardworking people with great sense of being self-sufficient. We do not take things for granted. We believe in giving back many times more than what we are given. Welcoming Afghan refugees into our community will not only serve to enrich the local cultural diversity that we have all come to cherish, but will also help in building up our local economy, as Afghans are well known for their entrepreneurial skills wherever they have settled. The last 2 weeks have brought me much grief and pain. Watching my ancestral land fall into the hands of the Taliban once again has been heart-wrenching. But the passage of this resolution would mean a great deal for my community. I request all respected members of this council to pass this resolution and work towards allocating sufficient resources towards resettlement and empowerment of the new arrivals. As I battle to save lives on a daily basis during this ruthless COVID-19 pandemic, the thought of new generation of Afghan Americans being given the opportunity to aspire to great heights and one day become productive, contributing members of this society and feel as welcome as I have in our local community is what gives me hope and courage to keep going. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. State your name, ma'am.
Chair, we have no more public speakers on the second floor.
Thank you for your help down there, Ms. Edwards. Madam Deputy Clerk, how many we have registered?
We have approximately
approximately 4 or 5 that's online right now.
All right, let's hear them.
Good morning, Chair. The first speaker is going to be Stephanie Pointer. Stephanie, if you're on the line, please unmute yourself and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm here to speak about items number 100 and 101, but I need to say that 58 and 59, which are SOG folks, 100% support. Those are the things we've been waiting for a couple years now, and we're excited to see that grant come through so they can study some planning for us. 100 and 101 kind of blend together. They're about the privately initiated text amendments, which we lay folks call PETAs. So your PETA is here to talk about PETAs. They are coming, these PETAs are coming from, they're not coming from private citizens. They're coming from folks who are paid to further the best interests of their clients, who may or may not be citizens of our city. I have seen public hearings for 8 PETAs in the last few months. I've only seen one that seemed to be easy to read, well prepared with illustrations, and in the best interest of the city and its citizens. Thank you, Ricky, Peter, Rika, I hope I didn't slaughter that too badly, for a simple, logical plan that anybody can understand. Great work. So, some from Mr. Michelini and Mr. Lum presented today are actually in direct contradiction with today's item number 95, which has been continued until October the 28th. So why are we even considering it? Mr. Michelini and Mr. Lum state that they've worked on these PETA for 5 years to help city staff, some former and some current staff. I would think that if it really needed to be done, then staff was more than capable of getting the job done. Staff monitored a meeting with these gentlemen, and Fan monitored a second meeting. My personal opinion on this matter has not changed in the least. Only staff should be making changes to city code. City staff are the experts who are obligated, and from what I've seen, they do, but what's best for the city and in the interest of the citizens. I'm going to tell you that one of the PETA submitted in this cycle is 60 pages long of technical jargon. Nobody's got time to read all that, but I did. On page 7 of that 60-page document, the applicant revealed that they wanted to impact the entire city with some of these changes. 7 pages in, not on the first page or the second page. Well, and it also said in that document that they had reached out with the neighborhoods. Well, guess what? I'd never talked to them, nor had anybody that I had talked to talked to them. So I don't know who they talked to, but it wasn't the neighborhood association folks that I know. Bottom line is support 58, 59, get rid of the PETA forever and ever, amen, and let your staff do what they do because they're experts. And I almost forgot, micro-mobility. I'm for it. Number 60, item number 60. Last but not least,
Thank you, Ms. Pointer. Thank you so much.
An hour ago.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is going to be Kenton Bradford. Kenton, if you're on the line, please unmute yourself and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good morning, everyone. As stated, my name is Kenton Bradford. I live in the Towers, what used to be known as the Towers of Channelside, and I'm speaking in regard to item number 98, which I believe is the sound or noise ordinance, one of the two. Originally, when this was presented to us, the residents here, the thought was that the council would be ruling on whether or not Channelside, writ large, would be designated as a residential district as opposed to an entertainment district, which I guess is what it is now. And I would just like to say I'm in full favor of that. I've spoken to you twice in the last 6 or 8 months regarding the noise emanating from Park and Rec directly below me. But that seems to be now with all the new apartment buildings that are going in and the residents that are coming in, that we are turning into more of a, a residential or household oriented community, and that specifically with regards Sparkman Wharf directly across the street from us, that they shut down at an appropriate time at night as opposed to the establishment below me here, Park and Rec. So I'm in favor of anything you guys are willing to do to turn this into a residential coding or whatever it is you call it, vice the apparent entertainment coding that it is currently under. So again, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The next speaker is going to be Gene Straumeyer. Gene, if you're on the line, please unmute yourself and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Jean Strohmeyer. I started the Interbay South of Gandy Civic Association so that we, the people down here, had someone to talk to and voice their concerns to our elected officials in Tampa City Council. We are your average working people until gentrification of our neighborhood. Even though we are south of Tampa, we are not, quote, South Tampa. We are SOG. Those north of Gandy were not allowed on our side of the road back in the day. I recently learned that our city staff has relationships with certain builders and developers who have basically been tasked to change our laws using PITA, privately initiated text amendment. They have been doing this for years, but we have just come to realize that these changes ultimately benefited the builders, not us, through the land use and zoning change. And because they were so successful in their changes, we the people, along with unanimous votes of city council, were unable to stop them from changing the very essence of our neighborhood. In the past 2 years, I have learned a very hard and sad lesson in that the regular citizens of Tampa, our voices do not matter to this city. What we want or do not want for our neighborhoods is preempted by what the city wants for our neighborhood. All of my comments on this agenda have been sent to you in writing. I will remain in my neighborhood association, but as far as the rest of the city, I will fight on my knees in prayer to the Lord God Almighty, who has complete control over this city and only allows what he will allow. In the name of Jesus, y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
The next speaker is going to be, Paris Gergenis. Paris, if you're on the line, please unmute yourself and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to speak. I would like to echo the sentiments of my neighbor who spoke just a few minutes ago, Mr. Kenton Bradford, about the noise in this part of Tampa, Channelside. And I would like to urge you to vote in favor of implementing the 4 recommendations presented by the staff and the legal department regarding Chapter 14 in the City of Tampa ordinance. We, the residents of Channelside, deserve some relief from the constant noise that's around us that has increased tremendously the last couple of years. As Mr. Canton said, particularly Park and Rec at the ground level of our building. So anything you can do to help alleviate some of the problems, the noise pollution, we will be forever grateful to you. I won't take any more of your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The next speaker registered to speak, however, they did not log in to participate, and that was going to be Gamal Gayser. Also, Sean Brown registered to speak but did not log in to participate, and that's going to conclude the public comments.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, gentlemen. We've got about 11:20, I see. We're going to try to get this plane moving real quick and up in the air. Consent items. Mr. Citro, can you move item number 7, please? 5 and 6 have been pulled.
Yes, I understand that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I will move item number 7.
Second.
Mr. Citro has moved it. Ms. Maniscalco has seconded. Roll call vote.
Maniscalco?
Yes.
Vieira?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder? Yes. Carlson?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Ms. Maniscalco, move items number 8 through
Thank-
15, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I move items 8 through 15.
Second.
Ms. Maniscalco moves it, Mr. Dingfelder seconded. Roll call vote.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Maniscalco?
Yes.
Vieira?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Ms. Dingfelder, move items 16 through 36, please, sir.
With pleasure, Mr. Chairman, I'll move items 16 through 36.
Second.
Second by Mr. Maniscalco. Roll call vote.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder? Yes. Carlson?
Yes.
Maniscalco?
Yes.
Vieira?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Ms. Miranda, you move items 37, excluding number 44, which has been pulled, to 46, please, sir.
So move 37 through 46, withholding 44.
Mr. Citro has seconded. Roll call vote.
Dingfelder? Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Maniscalco?
Yes.
Viera?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Ms. Skalsky, move 47 through 61, sir.
Yes, sir. Move 47 through 61.
Second.
Mr. Miranda has seconded. Roll call vote.
Carlson?
Yes.
Maniscalco?
Yes.
Viera?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Ms. Vera, can you move items number 62 through 66, excluding 63, which was removed from the agenda?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move items 62, then 64 through 66.
Second.
Second by Mr. Miranda. Roll call vote.
Maniscalco?
Yes.
Viera?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Mr. Miranda, can you open, do we have someone open the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Citrus, Mr. Shelby, you recognize?
Yes, thank you, sir. Does this motion open all the public hearings,
All
including the
public hearings.
10:30s?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Citro, can you repeat it, please, sir?
Say, move all
Second.
all public hearings.
Mr. Miranda, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Shelby, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that council consider at this time item number 86 for the purposes, now having it been opened, to continue this item per the request of the legal department in memorandum to a continuance today to 6 p.m.
Move to
Chairman,
continue
I'm-
to 6 PM, item number 86.
Second on 86 to 6 p.m. today.
Mr. Maniscalco has moved it. Mr. Miranda has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move to set the public hearing.
Oh, if I can, I'm sorry. I just want to finish up on item number 86. For those people who are registered presently and those people who plan to speak, item number 86 will be heard at 6 p.m. There will be no other notice of that, so please, if you're registered, be sure to log on, and if you're planning to speak, to be here on the second floor at 6 p.m. Council and public, if this meeting, or when this meeting does conclude its business in the morning or the afternoon today, there will be a recess taken for council to reconvene specifically for number 86 at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Did we get to vote on that?
Yeah,
All right. Mr. Shelby, gentlemen, we do have on the staff reports this afternoon, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. If I could get that moved to consent at this particular point, we can ship that and be done with that.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Miranda has moved it. Mr. Maniscalco has seconded. Roll call vote on 89, 90, 91, 92, and 93.
Maniscalco? Yes. Viera?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes,
Motion carried unanimously.
thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, if you
Yes, sir,
wish,
you recognize.
if you wish, if there's no further discussion, you can move item number 44 unless council wishes to have it pulled for any further discussion. But you did hear from the gentleman earlier.
That's correct. We can move that.
So move 44 in the my committee.
All right, Mr. Miranda has moved it. Dingfelder has seconded. Roll call vote on this one here, please. Resolution.
Carlson?
Yes.
Maniscalco? Yes. Viera?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you, council.
All right.
Move to set the public hearing 67 through 72.
Second.
Scott has opened and Mrs. Dillfield has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now open. Item number 67.
I think we just scheduled
Schedule.
all those.
Yep, Judge.
We don't need to open
Yep.
it. President.
All right, item number 73.
Second readings.
Second reading.
Okay. Mr., we'll go to Vieira.
Yes, sir.
Second reading for 73.
Wait, I'm sorry, are you asking me to?
Is there, I
Step-
believe there's somebody,
Don't they have to
Right,
first
staff.
do the presentation?
Yes.
I was going to say, okay, I'm sorry.
is staff present?
Is that staff present for 73?
There it is.
It's a Scrivener's error, I believe. Is that correct?
I can't hear him. Can you get some volume on? I can't hear him.
Good morning, City Council. Can you hear me? This is Ron Wigginton, Legal Department.
We can hear you.
Great, thank you so much. Item number 73 is an ordinance for second reading, amending ordinance number 2000-331, which contained the Scrivener's error and the legal description of Exhibit A. Section 1 of the 2000 ordinance accurately sets out the boundaries of the vacated alleyway and specifically mentions the railroad tracks as the easterly boundary line of said vacation. However, Exhibit A, which was intended to be a supplementary description, included all of Louisiana within the Livingston Heights subdivision, which is 1 block to the east too much, and results in certain properties being landlocked. In order to avoid further confusion, it is necessary for the 2000 ordinance to be amended. Mr. Sammons is here, available, and will be providing the visual aids and a presentation. I'll be available afterwards to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions, gentlemen?
Hello, Council. My name's Ross Sammons. I'm the right-of-way mapping coordinator, City of Tampa. I would like to ask the presenter to share my screen, please. It's like, can the council see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm going to briefly show the original Exhibit A in Ordinance 2000-331.
Mr. Chair?
You recognize.
Just as a point of order, Ross, since it's second reading, I think we already heard this on first reading, the details, so unless the public has any questions or comments, I'm sure council's probably comfortable with it. No, sorry to cut you off, we're just short on time today.
That's perfectly fine. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Anybody here on the public for this item? Anybody downstairs in the public for this item? Anybody registered for this item?
No one is registered for this item.
Mr. Dean move to close. Mr. Merrill seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Vieira? you
Yes,
do
sir.
honors.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Thank you. I move an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption ordinance amending ordinance number 2000-331, which vacated, closed, discontinued, or abandoned certain rights of ways or rights of way in the area described below in order to correct the Scrivener's error in the legal description of Exhibit A to said ordinance and replacing same with the attached and revise Exhibit A, providing an effective date.
Second.
Mr. Vieira's moved. Mr. Miranda seconded. Roll call vote.
Citro?
Yes.
Vieira?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Maniscalco? And Goods.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Item
you.
number 74.
I believe Ms. Mandel's
Thanks so much.
downstairs. Mr. Chairman.
Hussein Hussein, Development Coordination, agenda item number 74. Case AB 221-18 is being presented for a second reading. It's being presented for a small venue consumption on premises only. The address is 710-802-804, 807, 810, 812, and 817 East Skagway Avenue. This is for beer, wine, and liquor. Certified site plans have been provided to the city clerk, and I'm available here for any questions if needed.
Any questions? Anybody here on the public speak on this item? Ms. Mandel?
Good morning, Julia Mandel, on behalf of the applicant. I'm available if you have any questions. I know you have a long day.
All right, any questions for the applicant? Anybody else speak on that item?
No one is registered for this item.
Anybody on the second floor to speak on this item?
Move to close.
Mr. Miranda, move to close. Second by Mr. Maniscalco, all in favor? Any opposed? Mr. Maniscalco, do the honors on number 74, please, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I have a substitute ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance approving a special use permit S2 for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue consumption on premises only, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor, on that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 710, 802, 804, 807, 810, 812, and 817 East Skagway Avenue, Tampa, Florida, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, repealing ordinance number 7695A, providing an effective date.
Second by Mr. Vieira, roll call vote.
Vieira.
Yes.
Citro.
Yes.
Miranda.
Yes.
Dingfelder.
Mr. Miranda on 70.
I know I voted no.
Okay, just wanted.
I can change if I like.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to point it out.
Thank you very much, I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yes, for Dingfelder.
And the reason I voted no was because there was a thing of the item there was a package sale off premise, and somehow we convinced the petitioner she should take it out, when the petitioner, in essence, and I just sat back and watched, and I didn't think that was fair. There was no objection to it from the neighborhood, so therefore I'm changing my vote.
Thank you, sir.
Carlson.
Yes.
Maniscalco. Yes. And Goods.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item number 75.
Thanks so much. Zane Hussein, Development Coordination, going over agenda item number 75. Case AB 221-20. This is being presented for a second reading. Small venue consumption on premises and package sales off premises consumption. This is for beer, wine, and liquor. The site is located at 717 and 802 North 12th Street. Certified plans have been submitted to the city clerk, and I'm here available for any questions if needed.
Any questions, gentlemen? Any questions? Hear from the applicant?
Yes, good morning, Councilman. Steve Gardner, 400 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1100, and also Colin Green, the owner of 4 Green Fields. First, we'd like to thank staff for working with us on this project, and all changes that were discussed previously to the site plan have been made, and we respectfully request your approval this morning.
Any question for the applicant?
Any questions?
Any question for the applicant? Anyone on the second floor for this item?
No one is registered for this item.
Move to close.
So close.
Mr. Miranda has moved. Mr. Maniscalco second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Carlson, would you do the honors, item 75, sir?
Yes, I'd like to move file number AB 2-21-20, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. Ordinance approving a special use permit S2 for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue consumption on premises, and package sales off premises consumption, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor on that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 717 and 802 North 12th Street, Tampa, Florida, as more particularly described in Section 2, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
Mr. Maniscalco is second. Roll call vote.
Miranda.
Yes.
Dingfelder.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Maniscalco. Vieira. Yes. Citro.
Yes.
And Goods.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right, next item.
Thanks so much, Zane Hussein. Agenda item number 76. Case AB 221-22 that is being presented for second reading is for a restaurant consumption on premises only. It's for beer, wine, and liquor. The location is at 1606 West Snow Avenue. Certified plans have been submitted to the city clerk. I'm here for any questions if needed.
Any questions, gentlemen? Any questions? All right, we'll hear from the applicant.
Yes, sir. Council, Steve Michelini, representing the meat market in Old Hyde Park Village. We have complied with the city's request for making the amendments to the site plan, and we respectfully request your approval.
Any questions of the applicant? Any questions of the applicant? Anyone speak on this item on the second floor? Anyone registered to speak on this item?
No one is registered for this item.
Move to close.
Second.
Mr. Maniscalco has moved it. Mr. Miranda seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Citro, you do the honors of number 76, please, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. File number AB 2-21-22, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance approving a special use permit S2 for alcohol beverage sales, restaurant consumption on premises only, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcohol content, beer, wine, and liquor, on certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 1606 West Snow Avenue, Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, repealing AB 1-21-07, providing an effective date.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the, or roll call vote?
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco, Viera,
Yes.
Citro,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
and Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, item 77, ordinance being presented for second reading. Staff?
Thank you so much, Zain Hussein. Agenda item number 77. Case RAZ 21-30 is being presented for second reading. There's a property located at 813 West Amelia Avenue. Proposed rezoning from RS60 residential single family to PD planned development residential single family detached and extended family residence. Certified plans have been submitted to the city clerk. I'm here for any questions if needed.
Any questions for staff?
I had a question. I don't know if the applicant is online or not. Do we know?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, can you put it on video? Are you on video?
I think it's on, I'm not very good at, oh, there it is. Sorry. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
we
I
see
just
your
can't
face.
see you.
Oh,
camera on?
Oh, wait, sorry. Can you see it now?
We can see you, yes, sir.
Mr. Fox.
I'm sorry about that.
Mr. Fox, I was just curious when I looked at the drawings. I noticed that there's on the proposed new home on the empty lot.
Mr. Dingfelder, he has to be sworn in, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
So, council, this was over there by Armature in the neighborhood, and this was basically two lots, one existing house on the right-hand side, and then a proposed house on the left-hand side, which is all fine and good. But my question, Mr. Fox, was on the left-hand proposed house, it shows a garage in the front and a small little porch, but then it shows a rear-loaded garage on the alley as a separate structure. And I was just wondering, for that new home, and I was just wondering, in front-loaded garage in your neighborhood seems a little bit out of character. I was just wondering why design it that way as opposed to just having a front porch all the way across the new two-story home and just using the rear-loaded garage. And this is a PD, by the way.
I wanted the extra garage space simply because the garages are very, very small that I'm doing on both of them. And I have a couple of different cars, so I just wanted to be able to park all the cars and have room to do, I do a lot of handy stuff around the house and I build stuff. So the rear garage is a bit bigger. I can have all my tools there and be able to do stuff there without it being out front.
Okay. Did you get any comments from your neighbors about a front-loaded garage? Because it does appear to me in your neighborhood, isn't it mostly alley garages?
It's a mix, but there's primarily, there's not that many front-loaded garages, but there are some, and there's more, as they're building more of them. As far as my neighbors, all my neighbors are quite happy, and I've been here for 27 years.
Okay.
Everybody seems to be very happy about it and excited, so.
All right, well, I was more curious about it when I noticed it today, but thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? For the,
Ms.
for
Wells
the
has
applicant?
her hand up, Mr. Chair.
I didn't see it. Ms. Wells, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kate Wells for the record. I just wanted to state for the record that with regard to the first public hearing, there was no public comment. So I just wanted the record for today to reflect that.
Madam Deputy Clerk, did you get that for the record? Ms. Wells, can you repeat that for the clerk, please?
Thank you. I just wanted the record to reflect that during the first public hearing, because Councilman Dingfelder was asking about feedback that the applicant may have received from the neighbors, there was no public comment during the hearing when this was first heard by council.
But I do recall that. Thank you, Kate.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant? Do we have anybody on the second floor to speak on this item? Do we have anybody registered for this item?
No one is registered for this
Move to
item.
close.
Ms. Miranda has moved to close. Second by Mr. Maniscalco. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Dingfellow, can you do officer number 77, please?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. I'll move the following ordinance as related to file REZ 21-30, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 813 West Amelia Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RS60, residential single family, to PD, planned development, residential single family detached and extended family residence, providing an effective date.
Second.
Second by Mr. Maniscalco. Roll call vote.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco, Viera,
Yes.
Citro,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
and Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Item number 78.
Thanks so much, St. Hussein Development Coordination. Agenda item number 78, case REZ 21-32. This is for a second reading. Property located at 3217 West Paul Avenue. This proposed rezoning from RS60 residential single family to RS50 residential single family. This is a Euclidean, so no site plan was required. I'm here available for any questions if needed.
Any questions from staff? Any questions? Do we have an applicant?
Yes, sir. Steve Michelini is representing Mobley Homes.
We
And,
can't say there he is.
I'm sorry?
We got you now. We didn't have you on screen. We got you on screen now. Thank you.
Okay. I'm here to answer any questions. There were no objections, and it was recommended that there were no, it was found to be consistent by the city staff and the planning commission. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have, respectfully requesting your approval.
Any questions, Mr. McLean? Any questions? All right. Anybody on the second floor speak on this item 78? Anyone registered to speak on this item?
No one is registered.
Close.
Mr. Miranda has moved to close. Second by Mr. Maniscalco. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Miranda, 78, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. File number 78, REZ 21-32. Ordinance being for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning property to general vicinity of 3217 West Paul Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more descriptive site from section 1 from zoning district classification RS60 residential single family to RS50 residential single family, providing an effective date. Original motion to adopt said motion first reading by Mr. Dingfelder and Mr. Citro. The applicant has met all the criteria by the city code and chapter 27 for PD with no waivers.
That was second by Mr. Miranda, Mr. Dingfellow, excuse me. Roll call vote.
Viera,
Yes.
Citro,
Yes.
Maniscalco, Miranda,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
and Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Item number 79.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, St. Hussein Development Coordination. Agenda item number 79, case REZ 21-34. This is for a second reading. The property is located at 3411, 3413, and 3415 North 29th Street. There's a proposed rezoning from PD, Plan Development Office Business Professional, to PD, Plan Development Office Business Professional. Certified plans have been dropped off at the city clerk's office. I'm here for any questions if needed.
Any questions for staff? Any questions for staff? We have an applicant on this.
Yes, Truett Gardner, 400 North Ashley Drive. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Great. Zane, thank you very much. Yes, we received unanimous support for this minor modification to an existing PD to add a little bit more office. That hearing was July 22nd, and so happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for the applicant? Anyone on the second floor for this item? Anyone registered for this item?
No one is registered.
Ms. Maniscalco moved to close. Mr. Renda seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. We're back to Mr. Vieira.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I hereby move an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 3411, 3413, and 3415 North 29th Street in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in Section 1, from zoning district classification PD, Plan Development Office, Business Professional, to PD, Plan Development Office, Business Professional, providing an effective date.
Second by Mr. Maniscalco. Roll call vote.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
Maniscalco? Yes. Vieira?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
And Goods.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right, Mr. Shelby, we're to item number 80, public hearings.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, before we do that, I'd ask you to go back to the items that you were on the under staff reports, and I believe I neglected to inform you that it included item 88. Just to be on the safe side, I'd ask that the council make a motion to approve the resolution for item 88 in case it was overlooked.
Motion to approve item number 88.
Second.
Ms. Maniscalco has moved it. Ms. Miranda seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call vote
Roll
on
call
that,
vote. I'm sorry,
please.
sir. Roll call vote.
Maniscalco? Yes. Vieira? Yes. Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
And Goods.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right. Number 80, public hearing.
I believe that there's going to be a staff presentation.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of council. This is a public hearing for the adoption of the non-valorem assessment role for the the West Shore Special Services District, and also approving the West Shore Special Assessment Services Agreement with the West Shore Alliance. I believe we have Ann Coolig, Executive Director of the West Shore Alliance, on the line as well, and I'm prepared to answer any questions. And I would like to remind council that each resolution is to be adopted during the hearing, please.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Morris? All right. We have Ms. Ann there. Does she want to say anything?
Well, yes, I am. Just want to ask you, thank you again, council, for the opportunity to be here. Ann Coolig, Executive Director of the West Shore Alliance. We ask again for your support of this assessment and the agreement with the Alliance. As a reminder, this was first established in 2002. It is assessed only on commercial properties. We do not assess homesteaded, single-family residential, town homeowners, et cetera. And it is used for transportation improvements and planning, marketing for the district, and some public safety initiatives. The assessment rate this year has been lowered slightly to 13.25 cents per thousand. Last year it was 13.8 cents per thousand. We did hold a public workshop on August 18th and invited property owners to join us to answer any questions, had a few attendees. And then I'm certainly available to answer any additional questions you may have. Thank you for your time.
Any questions, gentlemen? Anyone else speak on this item?
I believe there are speakers downstairs, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We have speakers downstairs for number 80. Any speakers downstairs for item number 80?
No?
No speakers. Anybody registered to speak?
No one is registered for this item.
Oh, you gotta read the resolution. Yeah, you gotta move the resolution. Move. Second, move the resolution.
All right, Mr. Maniscalco has moved. Mr. Miranda seconded. Roll call vote.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco, Viera, and Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
And now the assessment,
Second.
Mr. Miranda, Mr. Citrus moved it. Mr. Miranda seconded. Roll call vote.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco, Viera, Citro, Miranda,
Yes.
and Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right.
a motion to close, please.
Motion to close.
Yes, please.
Motion to close that hearing. Mr. Maniscalco has moved to close. Mr. Miranda seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Item number 81.
Yes, this is a public hearing to approve the adoption of a non-ad valorem assessment role for the Downtown Special Services District, as well as the Downtown Special Assessment Services Agreement between the City of Tampa and the Downtown Partnership. We should have Linda Redmond on the line, who is President and CEO of the Downtown Partnership, and I am available to answer any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Morris? Is Ms. Linda Redmond on?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear, we can't see you.
Let me see if I can get the camera going. I'm sorry about that.
We see you
There
now.
we are. Okay. Good afternoon or good morning, Chairman and City Council members. Thank you for your time today. I'm Linda Raymond, President and CEO of the Tampa Downtown Partnership, and I am here today to respectfully ask for your consideration and adoption of a non-ad valorem assessment for the Downtown District, Special Services District 41 in the City of Tampa for the provisions of paying for services such as safety and maintenance, marketing, beautification, transportation, and other related costs. We have been in operation, or the district has, since 1994. Our assessment rate this year is at 1.0285, which is going to bring us about a $3.6 million budget. We have held several public hearings, or not public hearings, but community meetings with our stakeholders, and also presented in front of our downtown business owners and property owners. So I respectfully ask today for your consideration to continue our agreement with the Tampa Downtown Partnership. And I'm here for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Any questions? Any questions? Is anybody here on the second floor speak on this item? 81. All right. You state your name for us, ma'am?
Elizabeth D'Ambrose, and I live at Sky Point in downtown Tampa. And I'm here to talk about residence issues within the district. Many people who live within the district feel that it's treated as a business and tourist destination, but not as a residential area also. So we feel that the presence of police is lacking. It's one of the famous comments throughout downtown is, where are the police? No one sees police patrols at all. The homeless situation is increasingly getting worse. We're building and expanding onto the Tampa Museum of Art and the Strauss Center, and yet the City Council cannot get the Herman Massey Park built. So when we walk our dogs in the neighborhood, there's garbage all over the place, homeless people, and a promise of these things, but they're never done. The landscaping throughout the downtown area is not consistent. Anything that you've put in, you basically haven't maintained. There's no continuity at all. So when I bring up these issues, I'm bringing them up because, again, being assessed as a resident of the downtown area, we don't feel that residents are as important as the business development, and they should be equal parts. So That's it. That's what I have to say.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you.
your comments, ma'am, but I would say that you have a CAC, which is your Community Advisory Committee, that I believe this council has approved through our CRA board, that he asked for some police services, so that is coming. As it relates to Herman Massey Park, that's not council's fault. There were some litigation issues with both parties, and I think they're working those things out. But we do appreciate your comments, and I think a lot of things are coming to address some of the residential
Well,
issues.
for instance, on the park, they've been a long time coming. But who took precedent in that? It was the landowner wanting part of the city property, correct?
I can't elaborate on that.
And then it was held up for so long.
I can't elaborate on that. There was some legal issues there, but the landowner did have rights. I would say that. So I think they worked some of those issues out, and I think that's forthcoming. I think it's getting close. But I think if you get with your CAC, your Community Advisory Committee for your CRA in that district, a lot of the things that you're talking about, you can address with them, because I know that they are working forward to do some of those things you're talking about.
Yeah, we know that they're working on them, but it's slow. And we're not getting enough attention as the residents within the district.
Well, I'll make sure that I send a memo to the manager of that CAC, and some of your questions you're asking, I ask that you still give them a call, and I'll make sure that some of the questions that you're asking today, that they address them with you. But I know a lot of things you're talking about are forthcoming. I know government runs slow sometimes. I get upset too, but this is where we're at right now. But I know those things are forthcoming. But we thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, you're recognized.
Linda, Linda, are you still on there from the partnership? Yeah.
I am.
Did you hear her comments or concerns?
Yes, sir, I did.
Any response? I mean, I guess the partnership over the years, has been focused on businesses and that sort of thing, but now we do have a new dynamic with a lot more people living downtown, and then I guess if your area also includes Water Street, we'll even have more, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing for businesses. It's a good thing for the entire city and the community. But anyway, any response to the young lady's concerns?
Yes, thank you for that opportunity to respond to that, Councilman Dingfelder. I will say, first of all, that we maintain the right-of-ways. So a lot of the landscape beds are maintained by the city's Parks Department. We do work very, very closely with them. We are also working and recognize that we now have 16,000 plus residents living in downtown. We do reach out to them quite often. As part of those community meetings, we are constantly engaging our residential base to address the issues that they have. I recognize and appreciate Ms. D'Ambriosa's comments regarding the homeless. We are working with the Tampa Police Department and the city staff very, very closely, and the neighborhood associations on those particular issues, and have had many, many meetings over the last couple of months, pulling in neighborhood stakeholders to discuss those issues. So it is on our radar. We are addressing those, and I would welcome any resident or business owner who has an issue to please call the partnership. I would be happy to sit down with anyone and go over all of the services that we provide and to enhance those services and address any issues that they may have.
Linda, do you have I know you have a board. How big is your board?
Our board is 49 business
49
leaders.
Business
Yes.
leaders?
Business leaders, and we also have a couple of them are residents, but we also have a Special Services District Advisory Committee who advises us on the district side of the operations. So we also have residents on that board as well, on that advisory council.
Maybe the board, and Michael, I see you there, I'm not ignoring you, but maybe the board should consider some specific board positions in the future for residents. Do residents pay if they own their condos? Does that money, are they assessed as well?
They are, yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, well, in that case, you know, no taxation without representation, right? So let's see if we can, next year, make sure that we have some specific positions on the board or something like that. That's just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Was there anybody else to speak on this item? Anyone else to speak on item number 81?
You have Mr. Daniel Trogard.
Ready to speak? All right.
There he is.
All right, sir.
What is his name, sir? I'm sorry.
Good afternoon.
Could you say your name for us, sir?
Daniel Trogard.
Mr.
Daniel Trogard.
Yes, sir.
I guess I kind of jumped into this conversation at the right time. I'm the president of the Downtown River Arts Neighborhood Association. And some neighborhood topics just came up. So I'd like to speak in support of the adoption of the non-ad valorem tax for the agreement with the Downtown Tampa Partnership. We all know a lot of the things that the Downtown Partnership does. We know that they run the clean team to keep the city clean. They activate parks with programming and events. They have downtown guides. They have dozens of planters around town, the pots and so forth with flowers and so forth in them, separate from the landscape areas that we were discussing a little while ago. And they also do things like murals on the streets and so forth. Aside from the more visible things like that, the Tampa Downtown Partnership does do a lot of things behind the scenes. They have worked with us extensively in helping us to figure out some issues that we've had in the neighborhood. They put us in touch with city officials and leaders and just general advice to help guide us through some of the issues that we've been having downtown. I know that City Council is aware that the Downtown Tampa Partnership is helping to foster residential development downtown. Within our neighborhood, we have, I think within our neighborhood of downtown, we have about 3,000 residential units, as well as a few museums, the Tampa Theater, the Strat Center. And I don't know if council is aware that the Riverwalk, the downtown Tampa Riverwalk is, if you're aware of TripAdvisor, they're like the largest tourist website. The Riverwalk is the #3 thing to do in Tampa, ahead of Busch Gardens and ahead of the zoo and ahead of the aquarium. So we have a lot of tourists downtown as well. So the Downtown Partnership is helping us to figure out ways to manage not only residents, but all the tourists and the people that come downtown. And some of them do cause problems. And so they're helping us to figure out ways to manage all the people, all the activity and things that are going on downtown, and we appreciate that. The staff at the partnership is actually very truly dedicated and greatly interested in keeping downtown a great place and building downtown into an even greater place. And for those reasons, I would like to recommend that the council continue the city's relationship with the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else speak on this item? Anyone else registered to speak on this item?
No one else is registered.
Mr. Maniscalco has moved the resolution. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Citro. Roll call vote.
Miranda, Dingfelder,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco, Vieira, Citro,
Yes.
and Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously with Miranda being absent at vote.
And I'll move the second resolution.
Mr. Citro's moved second. Mr. Dingfelder seconded. Roll call vote.
Carlson,
Yes.
Miranda, Dingfelder,
Yes.
Maniscalco, Vieira, Citro,
Yes.
and Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously with Miranda being absent at vote.
Gentlemen, it's now 12 o'clock. I believe we can get through these last 3 items quickly. If we extend the time to about 12:15.
Let's do it.
Mr. Maniscalco has moved it. Mr. Dingfelder seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, 12:15 it
Chairman?
is.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, you recognize.
Thank you. Could you have a motion, please, to close item number 81, the public hearing?
Motion to close item number 81, Mr. Dingfelder, Mr. Maniscalco second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We'll move on to item number 82.
Yes, again, Brian Morrison, Assistant City Attorney. This is a public hearing for the adoption of the non-ad valorem assessment role for the downtown and Ybor City areas regarding the operating cost of the Tampa Ybor Historic Electric Streetcar Project. We have Michael English, president of the streetcar, on the line, and we may also have someone from HART.
Okay, so let's hear from those representatives. Brief presentation. Mr. English.
Very brief. Thank you, gentlemen. My name is Michael English. I'm the president of the Streetcar Board. Also on the line, if you have any technical questions, is Mr. Brian Allen, who's the director of streetcar operations for HART. We are here to ask you for your continued support for the Special Assessment District for the streetcar. As you know, it is essential to our budget, and we have always mightily appreciated your support, and which has been going on now for 22 years. Thank you.
All right, anyone else to speak on this item? Anyone on the second floor to speak on this item? Anyone ready to speak on this item?
No one is registered.
Mr. Miranda, let's move to
May
close.
I ask one question very quickly?
You are recognized, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. English, please refresh my memory. All three of the CRAs, Downtown Channel Side and Ybor City 1, are putting in monies for the streetcar, are they not?
That is correct.
Okay, and the port is still offering nothing for this?
That is correct.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Miranda had moved, I believe.
I don't think we want to close. Mr. Chairman, I just had a quick comment.
You're recognized, sir.
Thank you. And Michael, I know I, for one, and I think all of council is very excited about the potential for the extension of the streetcar and the updating of the stations, et cetera, of the whole system. What sort of time frame are we looking at to accomplish some of those improvements?
The design of the extension has been well underway for some time. It is my understanding that if there is a referendum a year from November for a local sales tax again, which it would be critical for the success of the streetcar extension, because that extension requires a local match as well as funds from the state and the federal government. If that happens, we'll have an extension complete by 2024 to 25.
And that will take us at a minimum up to Armature Works, up to
exactly,
Tampa
up to
Heights.
Palm Avenue.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely.
Anyone speak on this item? Move
I'll
the
move the
resolution.
resolution.
All right, Mr. Stinkler has moved it. Second by Mr. Miranda. Roll call vote?
Carlson?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
Maniscalco? Vieira? Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously with Vieira being absent at vote.
Move to close.
Second.
Mr. Maniscalco moves to close the hearing. Mr. Dingfelder, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're closed. Item number 83.
Do I have enough? Okay, excuse me. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of council. Jan McLean, Assistant City Attorney with the City Attorney's Office. We're here today on item number 83, a public hearing to adopt the annual stormwater service assessment within the incorporated boundaries of the city for the purpose of paying for the provision of the stormwater management services in the city. The adoption, also the adoption of the annual non-ad valorem assessment roll to be certified to the tax collector to be billed for the non-ad valorem assessment. And if I could remind you as well, as in the previous non-ad valorem assessments, the vote must be taken within the public hearing before it is closed. We have received no objections, and I don't know if there's anyone there to speak.
Or any questions for city staff? Anyone to speak on this item? On the second floor? Anyone speak on this item on second floor? We have any registered speakers for this item?
I have no registered speakers.
Second.
Mr. Maniscalco moved the resolution. Mr. Miranda seconded. Roll call vote.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco. Viera. Citro.
Yes.
Miranda.
Yes.
Dingfelder.
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously with Viera being absent at vote.
Mr. Miranda has moved to close.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dingfelder. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item number 84.
80,
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and council members. McLean Evans, Assistant City Attorney with the City Attorney's Office for the record. This is agenda item number 84, public hearing to adopt the annual roll for the Stormwater Capital Improvement Assessment. We have received no letters of objection for your consideration. May I respectfully remind the council that not only must we take public comment during this hearing, but the vote must also occur before it closes.
Anybody to, question for staff? Anybody in the public to speak on this item on the second floor? We have two speakers.
Hello, Council. My name is Yohani Brito. I'm here also with my mom, Jeanette Gutierrez. She wants me to speak on her behalf as well. I'm here, we want to object to the improvement assessment for the stormwater on Broadway and 61st Street. Just last year alone, our tax went up for one property alone. It's two properties divided in two, so it's 4 tax bills. And each one of them was already $650. That was an increase in 2020. The other property was about $300 and so on, so forth. So now the assessment for the stormwater, they want to increase one of the properties to, if I'm not mistaken, to $588, the other to $642.97, the other $208.65, and $191.06. As taxpayers, as you can see, this is very difficult for us, especially right now with the pandemic. That property is actually, one of the properties vacant. We pay mortgage, we pay maintenance. Code enforcement actually just had us rebuild the whole fence all around. That cost us $5,000. We can't afford this assessment. I'm not against improvement, but definitely I feel like there has to be another way, or maybe decrease the assessment, and that's all I'm asking for.
Ms. Dingfelder, you're recognized.
Just hold on there just for a second, ma'am. I had a question to staff as related to your comment. Okay. Going back to legal or whoever was up there, Jan, or your compadre, did we increase from last year to this year in terms of the, the specific fee or the millage or however it's calculated? On various parcels? I thought it was a relatively stable assessment from last year to this year.
Jan McLean for Assistant City Attorney. This is the capital improvement assessment, and this, when it was adopted in 2016, set out a phased-in rate structure so that this year is the last year of the increase, and it maxes out for the remainder of the assessment term.
So what's the approximate increase from last year to this year, Jen? I mean, a percentage increase.
I don't have the percentage increase. I do know that the rate at this point is $89.55 per equivalent stormwater unit. So depending on how many ESUs are assigned to this particular property, or it sounds like it's 4 properties, based on the impervious surface that's on those properties, then it would be $89.55 per ESU.
All right, we'll get Charlie to help us with percentages because he's our math whiz, but it was $89 this year, and how about last year? Anybody know what last year's assessment was? I'm just trying to get a sense of what sort of increase over last year.
I think last year, I'm sorry that I don't have that. I'm just going to have to go from my old memory, but I believe it was in the $87 range per ESU in some sense.
87?
Yes. So
Okay.
it went up incrementally over the last 5 years.
All right, so you're talking about a $2 per ESU difference between last year and this year, approximately?
If my memory serves me correctly, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. going back to to those folks. So I guess whether or not we like it or not, and that sort of thing, this has been on people's bills for the last 4 or 5 years, since 2016, and it's just gone up a tiny little bit from last year to this year. I mean, unless your bill is totally different than what we just heard. So I know I don't want to get into a conversation about what an ESU is, because I don't even know what an ESU is, but I do know a little bit about math, and she said $2 of change out of the $89. It's not a huge increase from last year to this year.
I just want to show you, like, for example, I have for one of the properties, lots 14 and 15, as an example, for 2019, and I'm speaking overall property taxes. I'm not sure if I'm using this right.
Well, we can't address overall property taxes, but we can address the specific issue, which is this item. And so what was can you quickly tell me what the increase was on her bill for that particular property from last year to this year for the stormwater capital improvement assessment? Does it show that easily on the bill?
It doesn't necessarily show last year's, and you would have to have last year's bill and then this year's bill to be able to see the difference.
The ones I have, this was 2019, and then I have 2020.
Okay.
And I marked there the increase, like I said, I know it's not the stormwater, but I'm just saying in general, how the increase, we paid $632 more on 2020. I mean, that's a huge jump. And what I'm trying to say is now.
Let me say this, young lady. We're not gonna be able to solve the issue today.
Right.
But I prefer if you contact my office, we'll get you in touch with one of our city personnel to talk with you, look at that bill to see what's going on. And that way we may be able to help you further. Versus we don't really know, we can't really see it, and we don't really understand to know what's going on.
Right,
So if you contact my office, I promise you we'll get somebody to contact you to get in touch with somebody in the city to look at your bills to see what's going on, all right?
I agree. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Appreciate
And
it.
I just want to
It's gonna be
comment,
recognized.
I'll comment on something other than this, not about this hearing, but a lot of times it's vacant land and somebody puts a building on it. And if you have vacant land, the cost goes up on the appraisal, so your land value goes up. That could be part of the problem. But however, in stormwater, there's been a lot of people who built something and all of a sudden they cover the whole front yard from house to front with either pavers or solid concrete, and there's where that stormwater thing is gonna shoot right up on.
Didn't know that, learned something today.
And Mr. Chair, Jan McLean, again, to respond more correctly to Mr. Diekfelder's inquiry with regard to the difference in the rate from last year to this year. I quickly checked with staff, and the rate for an ESU for the improvement assessment last year was $82.74. And as I had indicated for this year, it's $89.55. So I was incorrect. It went from approximately $7 increase.
Okay. Mr. Carlson, you recognize?
Yeah, just to talk about property taxes in general, and maybe we should direct people also to the property appraiser's office, but if someone owns non-homesteaded property, especially if they own commercial property, it goes up in value every year. And so even though we keep their rates the same, because their property value is going up, it goes up. I get a lot of questions in my office about that. So anybody out there who has a question like that, maybe contact the property appraiser's office. The good thing is your property value is going up.
All right. Anyone else in the public speak on this item? 84, on the second floor. We have anybody registered to speak on this item?
No one is registered.
All right, Mr. Maniscalco has moved the resolution. Mr. Citro has seconded. Roll call.
Maniscalco?
Yes.
Vieira?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
And Goode.
Yes.
Move to
Motion
close.
carried unanimously.
Mr. Miranda has moved to close the hearings. Mr. Maniscalco has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? General, I said 12:15. I believe we can get to item number 85.
Let's do it.
All right? Item number 85.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon, Council. This is Patrick Perez, Assistant City Attorney. This is a public hearing to adopt a non-ad valorem special street light assessment for the West San Jose Street and Sunset Park Isles, and also approving an agreement between the city and the Hillsborough County Tax Collector. I believe Attorney Martino is on the line representing the applicant, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Any questions for staff? All right. Anyone speak on this item?
This is Anthony Martino. I'm a resident of the West San Jose committee that's been promoting this underground utility and conversion to streetlights, which needs a resolution to pass with the city adopting a non-ad valorem assessment role, which has already been approved by staff, I believe.
Any questions, gentlemen?
I'd like to add also, Councilman, that we have 100% written commitments from all 50 lot owners for this project. So we are not aware of any concerns or objections to going forward at this time.
All right. Is there anybody else to speak on this item? We have anybody registered to speak on this item?
No one is registered for this item.
This one, it looks like we moved to close, Ms. Shelby.
No,
It appears.
yeah, you can, this one you can close.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martino, and your compatriot there.
Move to close?
Second.
Second by Mr. Maniscalco. Roll call.
Who moved it?
Mr. Randall moved it. Mr.
Yeah,
Maniscalco second.
Thank you.
Is that moved to close, or was that the
No,
resolution?
you can close this one.
Close.
Motion to close. We don't need a motion to move the rest, right?
Move the resolution.
Was there a vote on the motion to close? I didn't hear.
There was not a vote.
All right,
Excuse me, is there,
let's back up.
may I ask, is there an approval of the resolution? We're asking the council to approve today
Right.
the resolution so that the mayor can sign it. We have a schedule to
We
keep with
haven't
Tampa
got, we
Electric.
haven't got there yet, sir. We haven't got there yet. Give us a moment. We haven't got there.
Thank you.
Espérate.
All right. We moved the closing, but we didn't move the resolution.
No, we didn't vote on the
Right.
close.
You didn't
We
vote.
didn't vote on the close.
All right, move the close.
So moved.
Mr. Brandon's moved to close. Maniscalco second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
Move the resolution.
Second on the
I'm sorry.
resolution.
Council, I'm sorry, are you able to hear me? Can we actually keep the hearing open while we vote on the resolution? I apologize.
So this doesn't say that.
Yep, we'll do it.
That's what I thought, but Mr. Shelby, where we should be at this point? Because I thought we should have moved the reso and then moved the close.
You had at this point, it makes, to reopen is the motion that's on the floor. Is there a second to that?
Second.
That would
We
be
open the
appropriate.
hearing with Mr. Maniscalco, Mr. Dingfellow second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move the resolution.
Dingfellow has moved the resolution. Mr. Maniscalco has seconded.
Roll
call.
Vieira.
Yes.
Citro.
Yes.
Miranda.
Yes.
Dingfelder.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Maniscalco. And Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
And now, sir.
Move to close.
Second.
All right, Mr. Brandon's moved it. Mr. Maniscalco second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously, Mr. Martino. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, council.
All right, gentlemen, we are adjourned until 1:30. All right. Thank you.
Grazie.
Shake your money maker, honey, you read all right.